And with that, Aurorans, we finally return to the likes of Valley of Dreams. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream today. My name is SenseiSuplex. For some reason I'm a little bit off-center, but it's perfectly fine. Hope you guys are ready for an awesome D&D stream, as today we have the likes of the Voden Knights coming on in for their final session before the big old break. We have mainly an RP session, or social encounter session, as going to be the Voden Knights holding it down. No real announcements today or for right now, besides thank you to all the people who showed up in the likes of the stream earlier in the morning or the afternoon kind of ish. We had a lot of people showing up. I know it was good to see a couple of familiar faces. Besides that, not much. Let's get straight into it. I'm gonna swap over on the overlay. Alright, let everything load in. I gotta fix a couple of the cams and all that, but that's fine. Let me fix this, and then I'll get stuff in a second. All right, let's unmute. Let's be back.
Scored at work, bro, because this is gonna get me fired.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta turn it off.
Yo.
Yeah, I gotta turn it off and get to work. Oh, what up, man?
What up? All right, I'm just setting up face cams right now, so we're good to go. We're gonna be starting in just 1 second. But everybody's good to go. No questions before we get started with the session.
No questions. Let's get into it.
I just want to know if she's single.
Any woman single for the the right man.
Oh my
Is
God.
Gore the right man? You a high value man, Gore?
Oh my
Gore's
God.
a high value man. He's a high value man.
Okay.
He's got money in his pocket, ambition.
That's all a man needs.
But does he get that height?
My man said he got $1 in a dream.
Yo, it don't matter if he
Jesus
eats
Christ.
1'5", he walk like he 8'2". He believes in himself.
He believes it.
First of all, how many people can say they dating a god killer?
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
If that don't pull weight, then I don't know what will. Then
I heard of witch killers, but I ain't heard no god killers. I only hear about one.
The witch slayer, nah. It's all about the god killer.
God killer. That's what they say. You God slayer? Nah. God killer. Witch slayer?
Oh man,
Have you actually seen any gods around lately? You're welcome.
Exactly.
Oh,
Gods don't talk to us because they saw what happens when they talk wrong. We gotta think carefully.
they came outside. Oh shit, is that Gore? Yo, go back to the crib. Go back in the crib.
Damn,
Tuck your chain, bro. Tuck your chain.
Max is talking over there in chat. So you think girls are attracted to the diamond tier sub to Ambrosi? What you got to say about that, Gore?
Hey, yo, he pays his dues. He has no qualms in that. Yo, he posts on that joint. You know he's real. Gore retweets it on his face,
So they know it's real.
His main account.
He says, "You just got my 1 month prescription, another month."
I got it on auto sub. Just what it is. Gore's got pride in what he does.
No burners, bro. No burners.
Would you like to share this to Facebook? Yes.
Actually, put it on my LinkedIn too.
Yo, OnlyFans was like, yo, is this messed up? Is this messed up? Somebody actually posted it. Like,
Goodness gracious. All right, I'm gonna start the session, y'all. All right. So with that, if I could have everyone gather around the table, and let me tell you all a Voden fable. To gather around for the tale of these survivors. For this, my friends, is a tale of a looming corruption, and that of a jaded destiny. This is the infamous tale of the Valley of Dreams, and the legendary fable of the Soul Bound. It'd be here. Our heroes would reconvene on the floating islands of the Samadan Oculi tribe. The Voden Knights would be dispersed across the Samadan village, and with Zaman being possessed by the minerals, you'd see as he'd take down Samadan warriors left and right, sacrificing them to the generator to restore balance to the likes of the city. As they do so, they'd learn that this owl-masked individual had either been the likes of the minerals controlling them, or associated with them in some way, shape, or form. Regardless, while this was happening, Gore of the Meadows would begin to relay some messages to the Sewer King, while also grabbing a drink at a nearby bar. Here he'd witnessed a couple of older faces from the Sandy Deer Tavern from long ago. Meanwhile, our shifter barbarian Adidok would begin to train Gashir to make a man out of a mushroom. While this would occur, the Warforged cleric Cora would be found training with the Samadan Scion in Rose. And in hopes of gaining their memories back, they'd be able to do so, learning of past relations with Zael Xenakis, as well as both of them possessing psionic powers. As all of this was playing out, the heroes would eventually reconvene to answer the Red Triangle Moss. And as they did, they'd find that impending doom would be arriving very, very soon. The Voden Knights would take this immediately serious, as not only their lives were on the line, but everyone's were. Issuing out a plan of action, the Voden Knights would take up arms to defend the land, and with that, they await their responses as the knights sit down for a grand feast of food and politics. We'll see what's in store for them this time in session 23 of Soulbound, Valley of Dreams. For that, my friends, we pick back up exactly where we left off. Just let me swap maps for each and every one of you. And it should be loading on in now. Well, that's loading over there. We will close this out, and we will have this play. Alright. Alright, good to go. So, as we return back towards the likes of the feast, you see as Amir of the Samad Inoculi tribe begins to look over towards you as they stand and they say that the feast may now commence. You'll look over and you'll see as all the bits of foods and delicacies have been laid about, from differing fruits to the likes of vegetables, your handfuls of differing meats and protein or more. For the likes of you guys, at least the Soulbound, for the most part, when you all have been eating, it's mainly been a couple of rations, really. Rarely ever getting actual sort of food from the likes of, the likes of the other spirits, and mainly even just getting vegetables and more from the mushrooms. This is an actual feast that looks promising to all of you. Some actual food. Regardless, as this sort of happens, you'll see as Amir sits down, and you'll all notice as a bunch of the other warriors begin to slowly start sitting down and just digging into feast. They look over, but as they get ready to sort of stop, you'll notice as the cheers have already kind of been made in honor of the likes of the Voden Knights, their appointed guest. But now, this in hand, they sit down, and all of you do, as the feast truly commences. As this sort of is said and done, a couple minutes begin to pass by, but Cora, we look over towards you for a brief moment. You look over and you see as people are sort of passing food and eating left and right, you feel something kind of moving and sort of shifting off to the side, kind of kicking toward or tapping onto your feet. You feel something from underneath the table. That said, what do you say or do?
She would look underneath the table to see what is kicking her.
You look over and you see as a small sort of yellowish figure with a smaller sort of hat on top of their head is beginning to kind of rise out of the likes of the ground. And they kind of look over towards you, trying to move the giant mail bag and shifting. Before this, you see and look over, and Gary is underneath the table. And like, psst, hey, psst, you got mail. Take this. Hey.
As she looks under the table, she takes the mail and like gives him like a thank you signature, but also wants him to keep quiet and exit out. Because she don't know if he even supposed to be in here.
He doesn't know either. You'll see as Gary begins to sort of pass you a certain letter. from the likes of an individual. And as they do, you'll see as the spirit down below the table begin to kind of shift for a second. Zaman, you kind of feel a sort of shifting sensation. It's like, shit, sorry. As they begin to slowly fade into the ground, as the other spirits begin to do, or as the spirits typically do. But with that, as Gary forms away, Cora, what are you saying or doing at this moment in time, now receiving the message? Do you read it, or do you save it for later?
She's for sure gonna read the message.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see where is. Oh, okay. Oh, this is perfect. Yeah, she's gonna read the message, and then she's gonna look at Zaman, trying to get his attention. So she's gonna stare at Zaman until he feels her creepy eyes looking at him.
He is muted on Discord because driving, so probably yeah. So if you want to try to get somebody else's attention, the closest other person would probably be Azora, to be fair, or Rose. But there is a Samadin kind of standing in between or sitting in between you guys.
She'll just wait until after the feast then, because she's not trying to pass this. She wants to go directly to Zaman. If he's like eating or doing his thing, she'll just wait.
Mm-hmm. Easy enough. As you begin to do so, it is, and this is also why it's very, very important on kind of where you guys sit, because don't want to be moving all around and all that sort of stuff, acting shifty. But as this is sort of said and done, Azora, but Akora, that is what you are doing. Zaman is kind of going off and doing their own sort of thing. And we go down the line and we look over towards Azora. What are you kind of doing as you see, as you're finally able to eat this sort of delicacies and bits of food? What are you doing?
Azora is, she's enjoying a meal, and she says to Kokasha, she'll say, we never got the chance to actually properly make introductions, but and she says her name, kind of tosses out an elbow to tap as of course they're eating.
Yeah. As you begin to do so, you see as he has basically a chicken leg kind of or in the middle of, as he's eating, but he kind of sets it down, swallows, and says, I guess you are right. I guess for formal introductions, name's Kokasha. Kalashtar and all, but your name, I believe, is Zora, right?
Yes, that is my name.
You are definitely a skilled warrior for sure. From what I saw in the likes of your battle with the crow, very impressive.
Yes, we've seen many battles. This is one of the more, taxing parts of being a Voden Knight.
Speaking of which, where exactly did you train? Did you train in the likes of the valley?
I'm pretty sure my training was done here. Like many others in this cycle, I have problems remembering certain things, but I know I was trained here and born here.
I see. That said, is there any reason why you kept the sort of attire? Kind of motioning over, and you'd be able to understand that they're kind of referring to the fact that you look like someone from the Forbidden Expanse, rather than being Ishtaran.
She'll say, well, during my time there, I spent quite a bit of time there doing work. I'm pretty sure odd jobs here and there as a warrior who travels does. I just kind of got used to the look. Besides, most people when they see me, they kind of give me a, underestimated look. It isn't until my blade is to their throat that they understand the mistake they done made. And she kind of winks as she takes another bite.
I see. Makes sense. I can kind of relate to that. I'm originally from the likes of, this valley here, but a lot of my travels took me over towards the Asia Taiga. and kind of looks over towards and motions towards their outfit. They look more of kind of like a monk, kind of like someone exactly from here, rather. It was interesting to see a couple of Elkin warriors try to underestimate me, but I'm still a fighter at heart.
Well, perhaps we could talk a little bit more about the warriors from that region as the tournament fast approaches.
Fair enough, fair enough. And as this sort of happens, we scroll down towards the next individual as we head over towards Gore of the Meadows. Gore, as you're sort of, or as the bits of food are sort of scattered about, you find yourself sort of on the likes of the table rather than taking a seat due to your sprite form. But what is Gore kind of doing at this moment in time?
He's eyeballing the little satyr sitting right there at the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's only but so long before he says something, so just... That's what's going on. He's giving her that uncomfortable stare while he's eating his food.
You'll see as begin to do so, you'll look over and Zoe is kind of... She's very much proper with the way she sort of cuts likes the food. It's almost like surgical precision. It's a little bit... Not necessarily... It would probably be considered a little bit scary towards the normal person, but towards the Voden Knights, it's like this is a fucking Tuesday. But it is precise, and she almost examines the way she cuts her food. And as she begins to get ready to take a bite, she looks over towards you and says, "Oh, can I help you? Is everything alright?"
Everything is grand. We're eating now. But elegant one, what brings you with them?
Looking over, oh, you mean these two idiots. We'll see as Kyle groans, but I'll look over. Well, I guess it's been a while, but I found Kolkasha a little while ago. We were... once basically the starry ones attacked. We woke up in differing places than what we originally were from, and we figured that strength in numbers. We ran into Kaio a little while afterwards, as we kind of woke up next to the beach. Kaio over here was making their way from the likes of the Forbidden Expanse, but we decided again, strength in numbers, and also might as well work together against the likes of the stars. Kaio had business, they had direction. We decided to follow suit and help them out, as it's only fair, as they've helped us and saved our life every now and again.
And Gore be like,
That's a fine story. Of course, strength in numbers. Look at the Voden Knights. But you're Fae. Gore asks his question again. Why are you here? Gore seen Fae just leave and go back to where they belong. Or want to belong.
Ah, I see. Well, that story, I mean, I don't really hold too much personal ties to it, but I am originally from the Feywild, but I wasn't necessarily brought here or raised here in Voden. It was more of some strange hooded figure. They found me and they aimed some sort of device. I do not know exactly who they were, what they wanted, but they aimed the same strange firearm of the sorts. Pulled the trigger, and I heard an explosion. Next thing I know, I wake up here. But, ripped away from the Feywild. At first I thought I looked around and this place was so boring and so bland. I'm sure you know, being a sprite yourself.
and Gore kind of giggles. So, just to go on.
Yeah. But, I do miss the place, but this place has its delicacies, for sure. And there's also very interesting folks every now and again. Like, what's it? I don't really understand. Like, are you from this place or are you from the Feywild as well?
Gore's not from the Feywild. Gore of the Meadows! I used to have a strong clan, but Helio destroyed them all. Phoenix gave him strength to get revenge and crush that god. So I learned some things from the Fae. Never been, but Ambrose has treated me well.
Ah, you've heard of the lady. Ambrosie. I never had the pleasure of meeting her myself, but I know she helps out the Feywild and other Fae. But say, I do have a question, and she kind of whispers this. Why is there so many humans around here? It is so strange. There's so many of them. They're like normal or something. Very weird, very weird.
Maybe that's why the hooded one brought you here. To spice it up. He does like a lot of the human ones, though.
And I guess Gore would say, but
the hooded one was in the Fae? Went all the way there?
I mean, from what I understand, unless it was some sort of illusory trick, which is not impossible, but I highly doubt it.
Right. And Gore kind of like plops down and sitting cross legs.
So this one's playing tricks with everyone. Is he part of Helio's games?
I do not know. They said nothing. They were just... the only thing that I knew was that it was more of an astral light and stars and all such. Sorry. Don't worry, I am fine. You'll see is the mentioning of sort of the starry ones and all that sort of stuff. I mean, each time anybody really mentions it, you'll see as a couple of people will like eye them like, hey, don't say that word. Don't say the corruption and all that, right? But she'll kind of put them at ease for a second and say, but just made of that, I didn't really get a good look at them. And they didn't really want to talk, they just decided to shoot, so... what can you do? What can you do?
And Gore just kind of like he's sitting there kind of drifting off. He's like,
We'll talk more. Gore needs to find this hooded one.
And he's kind of like drifting off, and he picks up a big piece of meat that's obviously like damn near the size of the axe and takes a bite out of it.
All right. And as you do, you head over towards the next individual down the line, that being Agni. Agni, what are you sort of talking about or doing at this moment in time?
It's a good question. I've been sitting here trying to think about it. I don't...
We can come back to you if you want.
No, he probably, while he's here sitting across from Gashir, he wants to ask Gashir a question. And Agni, I guess, at some point is going to look at Gashir and ask him, Gashir, when we first arrived here, you seemed on edge. More so than usual. Is everything okay with you?
Everything is alright with the noxious blade, especially after going with a bit of a training run with good old Hattie Dark. The Shashir's feeling better than ever. I mean, I was a little bit sort of shooken up, sort of going across multiple mountains and going on their first Voden Knight adventure, but it is nothing that the noxious blade can't handle.
You know, Gashir, the devil is a lie. You're acting a bit strange. It seemed as if someone was talking to you.
Oh, I see you, Chief, as perceptive as ever. Gashir does have a couple of, well, it's more of one, specifically, how you say, a supervisor. Yes, we'll call it a supervisor. for Gashir's actions.
Who is your supervisor?
That's kind of classified information. Are you sure you're okay?
You want to join the Voden Knights, do you not? This is information that's going to be required.
Agni, make a persuasion check. 9. But I mean, come on, I'm sure that you have your secrets, War Chief Agni. Gashir has his secrets. I think that's pretty fair, right?
So, how about this? What would you like to know about me? A secret for a secret.
I see. Alright, he's gonna look over at you. And you'll answer anything. Right? Well, you know.
If I can remember it, sure.
Alright, let's see. 1 or 2. Alright. Odd this one, even that one. Alright, you'll see as he begins to look over and says, I've actually kind of wondered this since I have sort of seen you when you first arrived, but I hope this question isn't, too personal, and you can, but, why is it that, you sort of have the muzzle thing on? I was kind of wondering over here, looking like, is he going to take it off to eat? Like, what's going to happen? I don't know.
Probably throughout this whole thing, Agni has not taken a bite of anything. Typically, when everyone's eating, Agni would take food away and eat, but he hasn't eaten at all here. I guess let me ask you, Sensei, what does I don't know how much I know or don't know about it.
Going back, so let me remember exactly how much of your memories that you listed.
It was one of the things I did not say I remembered originally.
Yeah. So, I'd probably say this. Well, let's find out. Agni, make your highest saving throw and let's see what you can remember.
Alright.
26. You'll see as bits of memories begin to slowly start pouring and flash through your mind. You look over and you find yourself amongst a troop. You see as individuals seem to be looking over towards you, kind of over your form, as they're placing something onto your face. It doesn't seem to necessarily be a gentle process. It's very much a rough and violent sort of thing. But as they begin to do so, visions begin to flash once more, and you find yourself looking out towards other individuals, speaking, talking. You look over to one in particular, and you see as a smaller individual, red skin and more, with a sort of flame and fire about them. You see as they sit on a throne of the sorts. They're young, very, very young, but regardless, they have multiple knights and warriors and soldiers at their side. As you see as one of their horns are sort of chopped off and another one is kind of stubbier. But you see this tiefling, you see almost what looks like wrath incarnate. It is a very much a serious sort of expression on their face, but regardless, visions begin to shift and change once more. You find yourself speaking before multiple individuals begin to grab you and surround you. And again, that same vision of them or something being placed upon your face repeats over and over again before Gashir kind of waves, hey! What, do you feel good?
Yeah. Memories don't come by often. Seems to be, as far as at least I can remember, I've always had it on. Somewhat of a form of let's just say torture.
Oh,
I believe it was put on me to silence me.
silence you from what? I mean, you seem pretty like a charismatic individual, you know, a charismatic Casanova.
Words have power, Agashir. You say the right words to people, they'll do whatever you want. It seems as if someone didn't want me speaking out.
You know, that phrase, words of power. That little supervisor, they've said to Gashir the same sort of thing. Are you you're not the, nah, you have different voices. I was going to, for a second there, Gashir almost thought that you were the voice in his head. That would have been very scary. That would have been very scary. Oh god.
You thought I was the voice in your head.
Not really, but I mean, you just sort of said the exact same thing. I was like, wait a minute, only that person has sort of said that phrase before. And this words have power, in kind of like a very mysterious sort of way.
So, Gashir, tell me, who's your supervisor?
Well, here's the thing. So, it kind of changes. Kind of. So, like, one time it's kind of like feminine, the other time it's like super guttural and raspy, the other time it's more like deep and foreboding, like kind of like that. So I mean, I think that one of them said it was like, domino. Yeah, Dominos. No, that's not it. Dominos. Demos, that's the name. Yes, Demos. And then it was, what was the other one? What was the other lady? Katara? No, Araria. Azuria! Yes, Azuria. Gashir remembers very well. Very, very well. It kind of just, I mean, it shifts between a bunch of people, but they don't really, hey, Gashir asks their names, you know, to form sort of connections, but they don't really answer.
Gashir, you have multiple voices in your head, it sounds like.
I mean, it's ever since Gashir got this sort of scar.
Could I see your hands, Gashir?
Yeah, sure. Look over towards his hands. Well, hold on, I gotta check one thing. Alright. They're pretty smooth, but, they're a little bit rougher than when Addy Dark,
I'm looking for marks.
Oh, I know. But other than that, they're fucking clean.
Gashir, show off your calluses. Show the war chief how hard you've been working.
He looks over, and he's kind of like, look, I got calluses. He just kind of presents him like a kid. But, I mean, they're kind of there, yeah, they're kind of there. He worked a little hard. Not too much, but did his job.
Addy Dark, how would you say he did? A scale of 1 to 10.
1 being Zaman, 10 being war chief, obviously. Perhaps a 3. Maybe one day he could take on Trog at a 4.
Wait, I mean, I think the Gashir, the Noxious Blade. See, I have a title. Trog does not have a title. I think we can at least bump that thing up to at least, you know, a 6.
Gashir, titles mean nothing. It's what you do, your accomplishments. You measure those every day. As a wise man once said, playing Super Smash Brothers. You're not doing
What?
as good as your last performance.
I don't know anything of what you just said, but I don't know. Okay.
Titles are only as good as if you live up to them. They do have meaning if you put forth the effort to hold that title. Although, Gashir, you do show some potential. you're going to need to do a lot more to unlock it. I do have one last question for you. What do the voices in your head tell you? What is the last thing they said to you?
Well,
Probably recent.
yes. Well, the last thing that they said, it was a little scary, I'm not going to lie. Oh god. They said it was very, very much foreboding. It was like, judgment has arrived and now the towers rise. Now then, the easiest task. Reform brothers or something like that. And it was very, very scary. I'm not going to lie. But, something about brothers falling and seeping into worlds and gray ones and all this other stuff. I don't fucking know. I think Gishir thinks it is a scare tactic, but I'm not going to lie. This is between me, you, and Daddy Dark. It was kind of a little scary.
Interesting. Thanks for the information, Gashir. And after he says that, he's going to point to Addydark and use message. And he's going to quickly say to Addydark, keep an eye on Gashir. There's something that doesn't quite add up with him. That's what Agni will be doing.
I forget how that message mechanic works. Can I reply without anyone saying, or is that just like a message to me?
Yeah, you can
reply. Yeah, and only I would hear it.
Copy. I think the reply would be just, yeah, affirmative. I mean, I guess, is it like a conversation thing, or is it just like a one and done type? I'm sorry, I don't remember.
It's like a one and done thing. It's like I can whisper to you basically like 2 sentences, I would say, and you can reply, and then unless I cast it again, wouldn't be able to say anything else.
Yeah.
All right, give me some pre-roll. Do that. Say it one more time. Give me some pre-roll.
If you don't mind, keep an eye on Gashir if you're training him. There's some things that don't quite add up.
No worries. Don't worry, we'll see every single morsel of him. Every ounce of sweat that drips out of him. We will see what kind of man he is. Or, I guess, woman. I'm not quite sure what identified photons they do in mushroom land, but person.
The last thing we'll do, he's going to insight check. Just how does Gashir look after like that conversation?
Yeah, 18. Yeah, Gashir looks a little bit scared, to be fair, but also curious on why you all are so interested in it. You can definitely tell there's a lot that he's not necessarily telling you, for sure. Knowing Gashir and you kind of being a chess master, you know that there are a couple of things that you could easily say or hold against him or over him to get him to speak pretty easily.
Oh yeah, this isn't the time or place for that, but yeah.
Easy enough. So, just to make sure everybody gets their little time, Addydark, is there anything specifically you'd be talking about or doing all the way down over here?
Samadins, where can I wash thy hands? I can't believe you guys just started eating. It's kind of gross.
Look over and they'll kind of say, if you're looking to wash your hands, there's a bathroom not too far off.
I'll mosey onto that bathroom for a quick moment.
Got it. We'll see as the individual kind of point off to the side and then show you where it is. It's a little small. Now, granted, there's not really if you want to like kind of clean yourself up, it's not really much of that, but there is you'll notice there's a sign over off to the side that kind of has like an outhouse or something like that. If you want to go into the kitchen to kind of clean up, it would also be over towards this location over here. Both doors are kind of, this door would be open, the other door would be, closed. You look over, and as you enter in this area, you'll see as there is a Samadin sort of chef off to the side. He seems to be sort of preparing a couple of things. Specifically, right now, they're preparing dessert, which is going to be a grand cake.
Sir, Samadin, where can I wash my hands?
Sure, here. It is not too far. It is off to the side, It's right over here. And you'll see as he begins to point over, kind of, not necessarily towards the corner, but it's kind of like a little makeshift sort of bucket to kind of wash your hands and all that sort of stuff.
As Eddie begins to wash his hand, he hums the national anthem of his tribe 2 times to make sure that he is properly disinfected. And at the end of it, he'll kind of shake it off and continue to walk past him, but see the cake. I mean, on a scale of 1 to luxurious, how luxurious does this cake look?
It's like, it's some effort, but it's not like a wedding cake or anything like that. It's like a mean 6. Yeah, I mean 6.
All right, I wouldn't be impressed. I wouldn't strike up conversation then. Okay. He'll continue to walk by.
Easy enough. As you do, you return back over. Is there anybody you try to stop and talk to, or you go back to your seat?
No, I'll just go back to my seat.
Easy enough. As you begin to do so, you begin to sit forth, and as you do, we'll see as... Hold on, make sure I got this right. Oh, I'm in the wrong section. Here we go. One moment. Alright. You'll see as Amir will begin to kind of, after a couple minutes have kind of relatively passed and more, eventually Amir will begin to look over and kind of, speaking generally to the Voden Knights, but kind of, from what they've seen thus far, Agni's kind of been the one to speak, but they're leaving it at least open for anybody to kind of join in. And we'll begin to say, so, Voden Knights, you all have shown quite a bit of promise. I believe earlier, before this feast was sort of had, you mentioned something about a arrangement of the sorts. What exactly did you have in mind? Curious.
Yes. Well, if we're going to get started, I might as well make sure everyone here is formally introduced to myself, as well as all the Voden Knights. For those that don't know me, I am War Chief Agni, and you will refer to me as such, leader of the Voden Knights. Up there, the woman, second in command, Azura Lanista, a swordswoman with skills second to none, and a blade worthy of respect on the battlefield. Head of Research and Development, Zaman Unme. The metal and the earth bend to his will. The one that does her best keeping us alive, either with spells, potions, or through smashing enemies with raw strength, is Cora over there. The large man across from me with the tribal tattoos is Adidark. His punches are wielded with the fury of elements, directed towards any night creatures. And lastly, Gore, the one with heart and voice larger than any person I've ever met. I do best to not get on his bad side. We also have Gashir, one training to become a Voden Knight one day. He's taken his first steps. Soon, he will take more.
Kind of like whispers towards you, don't forget the noxious blade board, come on.
He just fires this scowl at him and says nothing.
He gets the message.
We appreciate the hospitality that you have given us by bringing us into your home, the place where you rest, and providing us a feast. We're here strictly on business. As we mentioned before, the words we talked about were true. We're looking for potential allies, whether that's allies in blood that are willing to do battle with us, allies potentially in trade, willing to help grow and nurture an economy, or maybe people who just will pass in the night, not bringing any type of hostilities to each other. We have much to offer, but I am curious to what you guys have to offer. It seems as if you guys have been living up here quite comfortably, away from most dangers, besides flying threats that have been infected with the ops. What do you all hope to gain?
See, as Amir will look over and kind of nod. To start things off, as you introduce yourselves, I shall introduce myself and others. Those of you who do not know, I am Amir Samada. I'm the head chieftain of this Samadan village in the valley. To my right, or to your right and my left, see as he kind of points over, this is my sister Rose Samada. She is the head sort of archmage or scion of this land. He'll look over kind of back before him, kind of behind him. Just over here, they are, how you say, my lead interrogator, and also lead of... It wouldn't take this long, but I'm thinking more of a way to kind of explain it to you guys, like, in a simplistic fantasy sort of way. Leader of social relations and more. Though they hold themselves with the likes of a mask, they do so as they have been recently working. They do not speak much at this moment in time, as they do not need to speak out loud. They speak purely through the likes of telepathy. But do not let the likes of their appearance fool you, or even frighten you. They are to be trusted, and they are one of my most powerful warriors and greatest friends. See as they both kind of nod to one another, and eventually look over towards you. You mentioned what we could possibly offer for a trade. Now, I am unsure of exactly what your situation is with your civilization and village. Which would be why I would eventually request embassy or an officer of mine to maybe explore your premises, as you've taken it upon yourself to do so here. That way I can get a better picture of what you all are working with. But to answer your other thing, it would be a lie for me to explain and say that this village is perfect. We do, as you can see from the buildings and the warriors and more, and as I've said before, we are currently at war with a rival group of individuals, radicals. Though we outnumber them, we would still be willing, or we would still have troops to possibly spare. Protection is one thing that we could offer, towards the likes of you individuals. We are warriors capable of things such as psionics, telekinesis for most, and for a certain few, telepathy as well.
So, to your first point, I think it is fair to not just have an embassy come to our village, but you, yourself, should come. See for your own eyes. Bring your sister along, and most trusted friend. It is a village that has been started by us and expanded greatly. We come with the power of being able to build very quickly, if need be. And it's one of the many things we can offer in an alliance. If, for some reason, you have a population explosion, housing is needed, food, water, we have the power to provide that relatively quickly.
We'll see as they begin to nod. Interesting.
Going on, you mentioned you're at war with a group of individuals. Might I ask, how long have you been in Jaded Dragon Valley?
This village, this island, this is one of the oldest islands amongst Voden that any of us could even remember. This being the origination of the Samadan Oculi tribe, as it holds a lot of weight and a lot of history for our people. Though we do not know of the exact year or more, as far as the elders could ever sort of recount, this island has always had people. They have always been oculi. Pretty much until as time was even conceived. However, there are individuals who have spread out to gain a little bit more perspective on the lands, such as our sister and brother tribes to the Tyre and the Expanse, respectively.
If you don't mind me asking, could you tell me a little bit more about the people you're at war with? You guys seem to be capable fighters, wielding telekinesis, telepathy. How long has this war been going on? Or how did it start?
We'll see as he looks over. He kind of looks it down. Not really necessarily ashamed, but kind of just like, like, oh brother, where do I begin? Kind of deal. And it'll just say, this war has been going on longer than, well, both me and you have been alive. That I can promise. It is a war that is, well, as the likes of the Samadans have, well, been around. Eventually, Yasuda conspirators, traitors, broke away from the likes of the Samadans, and eventually formed their own tribe. Since the, how you say, disagreements, to say the least, or put it lightly. We have been at war since then. The exact reasoning for it has been lost in bloodshed, but so is war. This is not something that as I personally have tried to get the elders to do so, and I've even personally tried myself to reason with the Yasudas, as much as it irritates me and how irritable they are to work with. Peace is a very unlikely option between us. The only outcome I could probably foresee is one through force and blood, as much as I'd honestly not prefer it.
is it possible? I'd like to just, well, I want to insight check just in general. I'm not looking for information. I'm looking, I guess, how much does he believe what he's saying?
Yeah, Azora kind of wants to do the same.
Yeah, go for it. 11, 9.
Well,
It's
Sensei.
Mhm.
Well, real quick, my whole the vision for me is like dark.
Oh, I got you.
That's the same thing.
I can fix that. I know exactly why. Yeah, let me give you that vision. Yep, that's the reason why. All right. How about now?
Yep, appreciate you.
Yep. Sorry about that. Is everybody else's vision fine?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So with your 11 and 9, what you would see is that it's for a lot of the more warrior individuals, probably like Gore for sure, maybe even Korra, probably Addy Dark if assuming if Gore or Addy Dark are paying attention to this specific conversation. It's definitely a case of like, hey man, the elder said friggin' these are your enemies, don't fuck with them, don't talk to them, just do what you're told and you'll keep on going on. You'll keep on just keeping on. And kind of growing up with these sort of beliefs, they believe it wholeheartedly as it's kind of the only thing they know. It's one of those sort of cases and scenarios from what you can tell. But
Gore can see the conviction in his eyes.
a very, very strong belief and conviction in this. Almost unshakable.
Well, as my title, I am a war chief. Not really a peace chief. War is something that I grew up around. For my entire life, for what I can remember at least. However, I find it very interesting being in the dreaded Dragon Valley and having this massive amount of hatred for a rival clan, as you say. Have you ever had to deal with any yokais being spawned from this type of hatred?
You'll see as the individual begin to speak and say, myself personally, I have heard of the yokai. I have seen friendly yokai, but not ones out of pure hatred specifically anywhere near here. See as one of the individuals begins to sort of speak. It's the Samadan off to the side, kind of next to Zaman for a bit. We'll see as they begin to sort of say, Amir, I actually did see one of them, not too long ago. Where exactly did you see this? He kind of leans back. I saw, one of the Akuyama, yokai. They seemed to have fell out of the sky after doing battle with, I believe, an angel or a Teniyama. They crash-landed somewhere, but, I tried to stay away from them. I didn't want to get involved with that. They're not too far from, how you say, from our sort of scouting perimeter. I see. I'll let the war chieftain begin to look over to that immediately. I see as he begins to look over, kind of look towards the Inquisitor, nod, and you'll see as he begins to start casting a spell. Most of you guys could probably understand that the spell is sending.
Azora was saying, 2 questions. 1, the location of this yokai you seen crashed. If you can please let Zaman there know as he marks down locations for us.
I mean, you'll see as Amir begins to look over. Why, do you intend to take care of it? Kind of like just a curious sort of expression.
It is something we've have a little experience in handling. As she then puts her blade like on the table, like in the sheath and everything. She just puts it on the table.
You just put a fucking katana on the goddamn table as everybody's just sort of eating their chicken and fruits and all this other shit. Like, look over, like, alright. They will, Amir will kind of look over, is like, it's okay, I get what you're doing. Calm down. But eventually they'll say, I see. Well, here. Pass along the information on where you've seen this individual. Also report over to my associate over here as well. And with that, Zaman, you'll see as... Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Zaman, you'll see as the individual kind of look over to try to look over towards your map and kind of point out the general location of where this creature might be. Alright.
And then she'll say, and for the second question, so you've been at war with these Yasuda. Where are there any located in the valley here? And if so, is there any like main civilizations such as this one?
You'll see.
Or are they just like encampments or outposts?
You'll see as Rose will probably speak and say, the Yasuda, they are located by the island just across from here. This land once used to be, and though it is still prosperous, but even grander than what you witnessed today. And you would kind of all know that there was like another kind of island or another sort of landmass that you kind of thought was originally connected to this one that is right beside the likes of or this village that you kind of stand next to. They are very close, but because they are close, constant war is often apparent.
So just to make sure I understand. Just to make sure I understand, she's saying that there's another floating island around here, and that's where they're at?
Yes. Like, very, very extremely close. Like, still over the water kind of deal.
Okay, cool.
Now, I'd assume that they probably as well have dispersed themselves across all of Voden. That I would not be surprised of.
Is just an addendum to that question, is the other island filled with the Yasuda, is that when you all split, is that where their main colony went off to, and the other ones around the Voden are satellites, so to speak, or is there a bigger one somewhere else?
You'll see as Amir will begin to say, to our current knowledge, that is the case. However, one individual should be able to confirm this. They'll look over, and you'll see as they begin to eye a certain individual amongst your troop. And you'll see as he looks over towards Kaio, as he says, yes, that would be the case. The other individuals of the Expanse. I arrived to the island with a couple of individuals. It seemed to be both forces were wiped out. Samadan and Yasudin. There were signs of bodies and signs of a fight. However, due to our knowledge that we gained on the island, the stars had taken the likes of many lives, and the ruins have been left abandoned. The island still explodes, meaning that the individuals responsible containing the generator and more have been slain. Susie looks over. I see.
And just real quick, he's talking about the island in the Expanse, not the one here, right?
Yep. The island in the Expanse.
Cool.
Susie nods. I see. Kind of looking over towards you. Does that answer your question, kind of?
Yeah, and she'll nod her head and she'll say, understood. And then she'll look to see at her companions if anyone else have any questions.
Cora would say, am I on mute? Hold on.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, good, cool. So Cora would ask, Mayor, if I know you said it was a cross, but she wants to make sure it's on the map. So she would ask, Mayor, can you please point where the Yasuda are located on the map, just so Zaman could do his map thing?
Easy enough. I'll see as the nearby modern can easily sort of just they kind of like exchange a nod, and that individual will begin to mark it down on the map.
And then she will ask, now you said that in theory you would like to end the war in a non-violent way.
If possible, but
if possible. Okay, she'll just leave it at that. Yeah, she'll leave it at that. Fuck. Okay.
No, you're good. You'll see as Rose will begin to speak and say, we have tried to talk through peaceful means, but there was too much blood that has been spilled. People have died for reasons that they do not even know for or what for. We do not know how the Yasudans feel, but every time that there is talks of peace, there are also talks of, what about this? Or can we simply just ignore what they did? Can we forgive? That there is too much of an outcry of no, we cannot. For this the Samadans and the Yasuda are in a constant cycle of war and hatred. We don't believe that it shall be the death of us, or the eradication of both clans, as through the years and through the bits of time, we have still prevailed despite all the fighting. I am positive that it shall be the same.
So, let's just say you and this rival clan, the USADA, were either at peace or you guys won the war. What would be your goal next?
Actually, hold that thought. You're about to get some fucking deep lore that I wrote a while ago. Make sure I got this right to confirm it. Let me done. Yep. Alright, cool. Alright, yeah. You'll see as they'll begin to say, well, ultimately, our goal is, to put it simply, prosper. Build a world where other oculi and more can rest easy, not having to deal with the stars as we are able or capable of dealing with it ourselves. War or battle is always going to be a prevalent thing, and people will always need protection. But to at least give those who come after us a better life, rather than a blood-filled one. That is our goal. However, We cannot do so as if we were permanently spread as we are now. This is not without a reason. It is no secret, so I can share this with you. But what we are trying to do is we are trying to connect the likes of the islands back once more. The floating islands of Voden. Our people, our elders, we are the ones responsible for them even lifting up in the first place. We seek to reclaim our territory. We seek to restore what is ours anyways. So they're basically saying, all the floating islands in Voden, they're trying to reconnect them.
That is understandable. Unite all the people that you have. You want to prosper. It seems you guys have lofty goals. Not only winning a war, but connecting multiple islands to live out your days. Since we are being honest, we'll share a little bit of information that has come upon us. This world that we live in, Voden, we do not believe it's going to be around for much longer. If you've noticed, the sky itself, it reeks with the stench of a war approaching. And this isn't a war between clans or a war where you can pick a side. This is a war where all of our lives are at stake. That very thing we fought in the woods with you. Those large birds, infected with the ops. They are bringing untold destruction to this world. Our overall goal is to rid this world of the ops. And this isn't something we can do by killing every last one of them. If anything, this has happened before. And it seems like it's happened before that, and before that, and even before that. To put it lightly, we're in a cycle of destruction. And this destruction continues to happen. Mostly because we cannot seem to get along and follow a couple of steps that seem to be presented to us. Now, these steps seem lofty, unobtainable, almost imaginable. But just as you shared your goal, that is the goal of the Voden Knights. We would like to prosper as well, but in order to do so, the ops remain the one true enemy. Not only for us, but eventually for you and your brother and sister clans.
Azor would chime in after that and say, the situation is come to our attention that it is quite clear. Your dream to repair the islands back under you, repair the relationship between you and the Asura. None of these can be realized if the ops get their way. Like Agni said, it isn't about clan versus clan or Kiani Council versus the Jawa anything like that. Once the ops have their way, this world of Voden is gone. We want to, just like you, see a world where not just the oculi can live in peace, but children can go to schools. Workers can leave their homes and go out into the field and then come back safely. Loved ones are not lost to what the ops do. It's a future we envision.
And she looks around and motions towards her comrades.
And that's it.
As you begin to say this, you'll see as Rose will begin to look over, really, really curious. Amir looking over towards them and then kind of nodding before they begin to speak and say. And as they do this, you will see as their eyes kind of glow green for a second as they look towards one another before Rose says, "Where exactly did you learn of this information? How did you learn of this information?"
We have been informed through a couple of means. Some of us have been told through otherworldly means, but all of us saw, let's just call it a vision, moving pictures of what happened previously. You see, we were recently in a sinkhole filled with technology, metal beast, and at the end of this sinkhole, after a fight with a large hydra, there was some information bestowed upon us about previous cycles, a little bit about what they did, but ultimately they failed. Believe it or not, most of us here were also in a previous cycle. Although we somehow survived. It seems to be, As Agni's like talking right now, he's kind of like clenching his like fist a little bit, that we were selected, almost chosen, to try to prevent this from happening again. Whereas before, we were bystanders. I can offer a little bit more if words are not enough.
And he just kind of picks up the cat that's next to him, just puts it on the table. He sort of like puts his hand on it, almost if it's like he's petting it, but like just draws like his finger sort of around like the spikes, just to see what they're going to say before he says anything else.
You'll see as you're kind of doing this and as you're speaking throughout this entire time, you'll notice as eyes of these Samadans are just glowing green constantly towards one another throughout this entirety of it. You'll see as they begin to shine green, and then eventually you'll see as Amir will kind of look over towards all of them, not saying anything to you, but then he'll kind of nod towards all the Samadans for a second. Zaman, Korra, you'd be able to instantly understand that this is kind of, with your like passive insight, he's kind of saying, alright, enough, stop talking amongst one another. Silence kind of deal. He'll look over and look towards Rose to ask their question. If you could, please be very specific. You said you were chosen. This rings interesting to say the least. But I have a theory, and I want to be sure. What chose you? What marked you?
To say exactly what chose us would be a lie. However, every single one of us, besides Gashir, have some type of marking on us. We have also seen others with these markings, as well as markings from past failed cycles. Now exactly what chose us, that is still to be determined. Gods and higher powers are fickle, to say the least.
Immediately, you'll see as Amir will begin to speak and say, I see. It's kind of, Zaman and Kor, you'd be able to notice. Now, whether you can convey that information to the others, that's gonna be on you. But you'll see as Amir is sort of a bit shook from the likes of the news, or something that they have sort of put together and realized for a moment. And you'll see as they will begin to try to correct themselves and say, my word. You all, saying that you are chosen. Chosen probably by Azuriha, Draconic Sage. I thought that was myth or legend. No. I see. The marks on your hand, your powerful capabilities.
Is there something that you figured out?
I thought it was, well, all of us thought that it was stories. But individuals, not necessarily ever having a name, but individuals chosen to, with a bit of a determination to destroy the stars above, marked by some varying means, often fabled to be champions of the Draconic Sages, the only very few dragons across all of Voden, powerful beings of omnipotent power. The fables, the stories, they all tell that in search of these individuals, to make sure a tournament would be held on the island of Bayani, seeking these warriors, seeking these champions, for them to fight, for them to win. For only they could probably win a bout as grand as that. It is the reason why the likes of the Ishtarans, the Velkin, and the Kalani even have a truce for this time. To be able to find the likes of these warriors, to become the champions of the sages, to maybe end the likes of this bout.
Azura say, yes, this tournament is what we are preparing for now. One of the few reasons why we ventured out in order to secure allies and partnerships along their journey. You've seen our skills when fighting the Ops, the Crow infected with their starry formation. The speed and power in which we handle that. This is but a bit of what we can do. With more training from individuals such as your sister with Cora, sharing of information and in what you know with our kingdom, these are the things that can help us make sure that this cycle, well, that this cycle we do not lose.
You'll see as... From what I can tell, you'll see as he gets to kind of a business sort of expression. So, from what I can tell, you didn't seem to react to the likes of more power or more troops. Question, do you have a means to being able to get to the island of Bayani?
Currently,
I
oh, go ahead, Zaman.
Well, I've recently learned how to create a boat, but we need someone who's able to steer it, to navigate it.
Unless you all know of other means to get there that wouldn't cost us resources or time to build.
A boat could be even easier. And it wouldn't necessarily have to be built, or say in the water. I suppose this.
So y'all got flying ships?
Your eyebrow raised.
You'll look
Yo,
over...
don't give us an airship, bro.
Bro.
You had my curiosity, but now...
You'll see as Amir begins to say, if you could provide... If this would be a worthwhile trade, in exchange of resources, peace between our two peoples, as well as possibly even a bit of protection on both ends, occasionally. We could provide the likes of this, as well as our own food and more. But on top of this, if you are who you say you are, and you want to get to this tournament, we will assist if this deal goes through. As I mentioned before, the Samadans are trying to reunite the floating islands. We built them, after all, did we not? Raising them from the ground. A simple boat, a simple ship, or whatever it is. We could get you to where you need, easily. Through the means of psionics. Granted, a couple of us, or my warriors, would have to go with you to make sure it stays afloat. But this is a means that could be fruitful for you, I'd assume.
Yes. These are the kind of terms we were looking for, after all.
And of course, I've been helping with the generator so I can likely help with the reunion of the other islands.
Yes. As War Chief Agni had said, Zaman, head of R&D.
I will You said that also. You mentioned that there were other individuals. Marked ones. Right? Chosen? Or am I wrong?
And Azorwa just gestured to Kyle and said, yes, and Kyle can certainly attest to that.
I can. I know of their position, unless it has changed recently. I see. This is a very important situation. And I would be able to tell if you were lying in this sort of bout. And you'll see as he kind of looks... You'll see as the other individual behind here kind of sort of shifts off to the side. As they've been just sort of sitting and watching this entire thing.
As that's happening, I can just say, none of us have a reason to lie right now. You're welcome to do whatever checks you need.
Not needed. Not needed. You will see as it's kind of, he says that because it's already been done this entire time, is what he's kind of getting at. Since you guys have even been in here, since you guys have walked, since you guys have fucking, like, stepped your first foot on the ground, they've been checking you every single second, bro. But they will say this. If you know these individuals' location, there's no point in trying to take this lightly. The only, now granted, look at it however you wish, but I look at this as a potential for business, as I am not one of you. I do have my, how you say, my own. Our village has our own problems that are more, how you say, immediate of time. And I understand that you want to get this done. And we would be willing to help you. And we still are. It's just we need to deal with this in the meantime while you deal with your stuff. If you could find the location of these individuals, these marked ones, I can send a couple of Samadans to each of them, and to be able to transport them to this island. There is no reason to play games with a situation like this. It would be foolish to do so. Could you possibly get this for me, or this information for me, if this was the case?
Yes and no. There are other marked ones. Weaker than us, but they are there. Some of them are constantly on the move. Getting a exact location might be a bit difficult. However, we have asked them. They do not seem eager to fight and go to this tournament. They don't seem willing to fight under the Voden Knights banner. However, we can see what they'll say for free transportation, but I don't believe it will be fruitful.
For quite some time, we've asked them to engage in this endeavor. However, it appears there can only be one group. They're handling other things, and perhaps in doing so, they could figure out other ways for us to stop the ops, as there are multiple ways. This tournament is the one we choose to do.
They're
And
more than
Gore-
likely.
Gore's just gonna yell out right quick. You'll find them. Gore can tell you what one of them are. Gore needs a big spiky one. You can at least help Gore find them.
Go ahead, Simone.
Gamzoan will say, as Agnes said, they're weaker than us, so they'll more than likely be a burden more than anything else.
I do not know of all the prophecies or the stories of these champions. But what I do know is that we are positive that we have lost many. We are positive that we have lost our memories. Even though, well, excuse me for my lack of knowledge in speaking up, but Personally, if I were in your positions, even if they were weaker, arrogant, or whatever, I would try to do any means to be able to get them to this realm, to give us as many chances and as many opportunities to stop the stars. No matter how difficult it is. I'm sure that you all, and kind of looking over towards Zamon's astral arm, looking over towards Azora, they've already read your fucking memory, bro. Or not read your memory, but read your thoughts. And then looking over towards Gore's axe, looking over and hearing the likes of Agni's sort of story and more. They'll look over and they'll say, judging off of the conversations had throughout the likes of this island, you all have been afflicted to some degree, whether it be memory loss or in the likes of fighting. This is a common case and scenario for everyone amongst Voden, and it can be stopped here and now. Please, please, I implore you to try your best in getting these individuals. If there is anything, I do not speak for my brother or the other Samadans, but if there is anything that I specifically can do to assist with either the wrangling of them or anything to see this prophecy through or to learn more about it, I will assist. It is stupid to not do so. And that's as free of any business arrangement or anything else.
Would Gordon notice that they were like looking in the mines? Like they said they were gonna do it, like they're actively doing it.
Whenever their eyes shine green, bro. Hey man. Okay. Something's going on.
Well then Gore would almost fly up to the Inquisitor was the one that just said that, right?
No, that was Rose.
Oh, Rose? Oh yeah, let me back it up. Gore would walk on the table, he'd be like, well, if you could find anything, Gore will think where they were at, and you tell Gore. In so many words, Gore's trying to say, like, if he's focused on what he saw, can she read it and actually see what he saw?
Okay. I see.
Because he's trying to figure out exactly what they are too, and if this would do it, he'd enjoy that greatly.
I do not understand the means of how, but I can certainly try.
And Gore just squats down in front of her. What would need to be done? Gore's thinking hard.
Everybody's smart enough. Are you trying to activate the mark?
Yeah, he's sitting down.
Okay. Okay. As you begin to do so, Gore, you begin to activate the mark for a brief second, and as you do so, your eyes begin to shine blue, and the marking upon the palm of your hand begins to start swirling up your arm, up your forearm, and up to the likes of your bicep, tricep area for a second, just swirling about. As you do so, your vision begins to lift up as you gain an eagle's sight, an eagle's vision across the entirety of the Grand Samadan Hall. As you do so, pick a group, and which one are you trying to seek?
He's looking for that spiny, spiky one. He's looking for the dinosaur.
Spiny spiker. Gotcha. It's going to be secrets. Immediately, your vision begins to shift and change as you begin to soar across the likes of the sky rapidly for a brief moment. And as you do, actually, I'm not going to load that map in because it's going to literally take you guys ages for the sake of it, but you look over and you see as an individual's eyes begin to start shining blue, and you look over for a second, and you see as they begin to stand looking towards the likes of an obelisk of the sorts. It has tons and tons of writing amongst it. I'm not entirely sure what it all means is it seems to have prophecies or something. Looking over, make a perception check, Gore.
Okay.
$16. As you do, you look over and you see images, iconography, like sort of, imagine caveman drawings on the likes of stone. However, you see as these caveman drawings are on it, there seem to be of the individuals in the likes of the vision. It also seems to be of you. You, what looks like Azora, Zaman, Korra, Agni, Adidar, all of you doing varying sort of things, varying sort of tasks amongst this massive obelisk of sort of icons, pictures, and more. Eventually, your vision begins to take back, and it returns towards you in the hall, unless you would wish to activate it again to look for something else.
All that and still didn't find a dino.
Yeah, I know. I was focusing on the dino. Didn't find that.
Nope, no dino.
All right. Two yeses and a no, still a no. So Gore's just gonna look perplexed and be kind of angry looking at the mark and shuffle off.
Sorry, man. Mark doesn't work that way. Mark does not work that way.
Oh, that. So for a question, so I kind of missed it, but out of character, what was the deal that he wanted us to do?
Basically, if you, so basically like bring everything back together. So what you guys were providing was, make sure I got this right. It was along the lines of kind of like food, housing, and more, like a place to kind of rest their heads as obviously more and more people will kind of be going about. As well as basic sort of survival needs, and well as sort of embassy amongst kind of like both sort of civilizations. You could kind of go in their base and it would be cool, and vice versa. Do I understand this correctly, or am I missing some other stuff?
Well, that's how I understand it.
All right, cool. On top of
So
that,
basically, don't act up in the city.
don't act up in the city, and they won't act up in yours. We're kind of at peace, and we're friendly in trading the likes of resources when we kind of need it and all that stuff. We're allies, essentially. You know, it's kind of a case of if we go to war, we hope that you're going to go to war with us. And if you go to war, we'll probably help you. Yeah, like we're going to help you out as well. You know, kind of deal.
Got you. Okay.
On top of that, they did say if this is the case and you would be aiding us in our sort of efforts, we, because we are currently at war or whatever right now, we realize that is a little bit of a losing side on your end, as you would be getting dragged into it as well. So, to compensate, they will assist you guys in bringing you to the island of Bayani through the means of kind of flight, mainly psionics. And they will provide some modern warriors to transport you personally to said village. They will also, on top of that, make sure, or if you can point out the locations of individuals of the other soul-bound groups, they will find them, they will seek them, they will find them, and they will bring them to the island of Bayani as well. If you wish for that to happen.
So I hope they charge them 5 soul coins.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So Core would say, if I could find someone who would want to come, you're telling me that you can locate that person and help them get there?
No. If you can locate them, we will go towards them and we will bring them here. Or to the island.
Okay.
We do not know of where they would be, so... But you before mentioned that you had communication with them, so we assume that you would know where they are. To some extent.
Yes.
Yes, I could find a location to those who may perhaps want to join but doesn't have any means?
Well, unless you're able to bring your ships to hell, then that's going to be a bit difficult, as one of the groups is going there. Again, we understand what you're saying, but the other groups have their own things that they're handling for the fight against the ops. We wouldn't want you all to waste time or effort into going somewhere or trying to do something that's fruitless, when that same effort and resources could be better spent in preparing for us to win that tournament.
There is one thing we can do to save time. We have ways to reach out to all of them at once. We have tried our best. If you would like to reach out to them, I would even say lie to them to get them there. We are able to deliver that message.
As he says that, he sort of looks at Zaman, but he's not going to say anything else until see what they say.
Zaman prepares his mark, but he's not going to activate it until he gets the go ahead from Agni.
You are welcome to tell them yourselves. Maybe hearing it from a friendlier face might change their mind.
I'll see as they're more so kind of everybody's able to understand this. They're kind of like confused of like, the fuck do you mean we have to convince them that to save the end of and stop the end of the world? Like what? Kind of deal. But they're like
that's the same look we got onto.
Yeah. So they will kind of. It's more of like, I mean, how much? It's kind of like a question of like, okay, well, how much effort does this do? Like, what does it cost to kind of do such a thing? All this stuff. They're more so uninformed to these methods that you guys possess, and they suppose that you kind of are the quote unquote experts on it. So we'll kind of do it, right? If you think it's worth it.
Sure. As I said, we've reached out to them before. We have, let's just say, abilities with our marks to instantly, let's actually not say that, to communicate with each other when we feel like it. Zaman is one of those people that can do so. Through his mark, we can communicate with every single person with an active mark. And we've tried to get them here. But perhaps our methods were a bit too forward, or not forward enough. I will let you decide. But if you would like, and again, it is fruitless, you can talk into the mark of Zamans, and they will hear your voice. They will even see you. Show them exactly why they should come to this tournament.
Very well. I will offer myself to do such a thing. As Amir, I know you have your sort of tendencies, but I believe that I might be best suited for such a thing. We'll see as Amir will kind of nod.
I guess Zaman will activate the technique.
Yeah, Zaman, if you will.
They will say this, though. They will say with one caveat. Or Amir, let's say this. I suppose that this can be arranged, but we shall wait until the other stuff is sort of settled upon. Possibly as well, to collect a bit more information, possibly once we have been led to the likes of your village. But if this is the case, then, and if Rose is okay with this, we shall oblige.
All right. Zaman would open up the red triangle and let them.
So they're basically saying, not right now. Yeah, not right now, but soon. And if this deal goes through, then yeah, we'll do it for sure. But wait until the deal is actually formed and this is the actual route. Both parties want to officially go, like, there's a handshake done. And we'll probably do it, like, at the village, right?
That makes sense. I might have missed it. Is the Inquisitor coming back to the village with us along with Rose, or is it just Rose?
From what you guys mentioned, they were saying all three.
Okay, Amir.
Also, Tito, you're typing, bro.
Yo,
You're
Tito,
typing.
bro. Tito, cold.
Just
Man.
typing.
I was like, what is going
The
on?
crazy thing is, I'm hella on mute. I've been on mute, bro.
You're really not on mute. You're really not.
I looked at the green circle and everything, bro. I was like, who is typing like
Yo,
that?
bro, it is definitely on mute, bro. I had to take myself on mute to say that I was on mute, bro. I had to take myself off mute to say I was on mute.
Bro,
Go
I was not, yo, son. I was on mute, bro. I had to take myself off mute to say that I was on mute.
Bro, you're live on you got a live recording. You lying on the internet, bro.
Yo,
Caught in
I didn't have to
4K.
take myself off mute to say I was on mute. Like I didn't.
But to carry on, so essentially he's saying that, well, let's get the deal squared away first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Amir, the Inquisitor, and Rose are coming back to the village with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure I got this right. Amir would probably say yeah. Rose, since you mentioned that you would handle this, I believe that it is not wise for all three of us to leave at this point in time, especially in times like these. I shall stay, as the people need someone to look towards.
Azor will say, well, we might be throwing a festival soon before the tournament. Perhaps you can just take a bit of time from your duties that day to come down to us. By then, I'm sure your sister and Inquisitor would have spent plenty enough time to give you a well-informed briefing.
We'll see as he nods in agreement. That said, well, if this is the case, you'll see is, he kind of, go ahead.
Before he head out, Gora would be like, what brought the others that were in the bar here anyway? Before we leave, Gora wanted to see them. What made you give them passage?
You will see as the Amir will speak, after receiving a message. If they are the individuals that I think you are referring to, the Dragonborn and the Dwarf. Those individuals specifically have special clearance as one of their brothers is a well-renowned blacksmith amongst this sort of, amongst our village. They have been helpful in especially times now, and they have posed no problems or issues. Though we are primarily the likes of an Oculi tribe, we do not care, really, if other individuals make their way up here, or even choose to reside here. As long as they follow the rules, and as long as they listen to others and do not cause a problem, just like any other civilian, they are welcome.
Blacksmiths, that might be useful in the coming days leading up to the tournament. Perhaps just for a few days, we can borrow their talent as well and then have them return to you. this would be very helpful in forging weapons or armors, or even improving the ones we have now, or assisting our war chief there for a couple of days. And then upon your coming down for the festival, then they could come back with you.
I would sadly have to decline that offer. They would not be able to leave at this time, but if you wish, and if it is helpful, you are free to visit them for any means or any reason. From what I understand, they already backed up with commissions from my own soldiers. Taking them away would stop that progress, and that is something that we cannot afford right now. They are not solely the ones making things, however, they are a skilled enough individual where we would feel that loss, and we cannot afford any losses at this moment, sadly. I hope you do understand.
She says, well, perhaps we could at least borrow one for a couple of days. It is not long, and the other one can, I'm sure, stay and work, and we just borrow the talent of the other one, just for a couple of days.
Make sure I got this right. Are you talking about the talents of the other one, like other blacksmiths, or just the ones that Gore was talking about?
Yeah. So the dwarf and dragonborn are blacksmiths.
No. The Dragonborn's brother is a blacksmith in this village, so that's why they allowed them passage in here, because they have family ties.
Oh, she was just talking about bring the Dragonborn.
Okay. Gotcha.
And the dwarf, I thought. Oh, my bad.
Okay, go ahead, Zaman.
I said, I thought you talked about the dwarf and the dragonborn. I thought we were just trying to get the people in the bar to come with us.
Yeah, so the dwarf's not a blacksmith either.
No, neither of them are.
Okay, so then yeah, that's what she's talking about, is having those two. My fault. I thought. Yeah, she's pretty much asking if they could take those two, but I guess they're not commissioned here, so we would just have to ask them ourselves.
Exactly. Okay. Amir would just be like, "Hey man, I don't speak for him."
Oh, all right, I get it now. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think we're cool.
Also, Azor, you do receive inspiration from chat.
I already got one, so I'll give it to Addy Dark.
You got it. So,
I appreciate you for that, by the way. I would say that I thank you, but I know that thank yous aren't allowed in this chat anymore.
Terrible. But, as sort of said, you'll see as Amir will begin to look over and say, and look up. Oh, very well. If that's the case, let us get this in writing, shall we? With that, well, kind of making sure, like, hey, yo, you good with this deal? Like, you guys locking in?
Yeah. So what do they want? Like, to go, him and Agni to go to like a room or something, square that away?
Nah, it's more so like, hey, is this the terms that we want to agree with? Before I go have somebody get it in writing and we formally sign it, you know.
Was there any mention of night creature slang in the?
No. You have not mentioned anything about night creatures
That's what I thought.
So as of now, and I mean, kind of as it states, they'll help you with any like sort of big ordeals and all that sort of stuff. But if they walk around and they just happen to see a night creature, it's not in their, you know, it's not, they're not like hell to kill them immediately as it stands right now. All right.
The one thing I'd like to bring up, I was going to discuss this a little later, but we mentioned there's ways to defeat the ops. One of them is, I kind of chuckle at it myself, but uniting all the civilizations. We have no problem going to war to get rival clans to listen. However, it seems to be our ultimate goal in order to win versus the ops will be to unite everyone in this mission. Now, it doesn't mean this is permanent, but while we're all fighting against the ops, the ones that take our memories, we will be completely united in that goal. We're willing to kill for you, as do us, but that is the end goal, and we'll be working towards that.
Out of curiosity's sake, who do you have any enemies at this current moment in time? You know our single enemy besides the likes of these ops and the likes of the Suda. Do you have any that we should know about?
Azor will say.
I was waiting for Addy Dark to
I was gonna
burst in.
say Night Creature.
I was being respectful.
Go for it. I was waiting
me as
for
a
it.
person, not as a character.
She'll say the Zhao Dynasty and then look down the table.
One I think is froze.
I think I did too. Can you guys hear me or no?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh.
Just lagging, but you're good.
Freezing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just can't freeze, but we can hear you.
Now let me clear my throat. Yes, and the night creatures. They cannot walk during the day, and they carry the fangs. Anyone who swears to them, whether they be a familiar or not, must be slain.
You'll see as one of them begins to sort of speak, and it's this modern over here specifically, and you'll see as they begin to say, "Oh, wait. Night creatures? The ones in the tails?"
I'm so glad that his reaction was that, because I really thought I was gonna have to smack a Samadin at this table. I really thought I was gonna have to smack someone. I'm so glad he came back with that reaction. Yes, you've heard the tales yourself. But I bet you've heard of great rare folk slaying them. These creatures will come in the night. Women, child are not safe. You are not safe here alone. You need to be trained properly how to slay. We can protect you as the Voden Knights.
Sorry. And you'll see as he kind of raises a hand to Amir. Out of curiosity, would that mean that we would, if we ran into the Night Terror, we would have to fight and kill them?
Sorry, was he looking at me or was he looking at his? I thought he was looking at his boss.
He's looking over towards. Well, it's kind of towards Amir, but then kind of looks over towards you, Addy Dark. Starting the sentence off and then looking over towards Amir. Would we have to? And I suppose so, but I do not know of this Night Terror that you speak of. You'll see as they begin to say, kind of looking over towards you, Addy Dark, because you were the one who mentioned it. Sorry, just out of curiosity, have you ever heard of or ran into the Night Terror? You mentioned night creatures before, so I was just curious.
Is that a history check?
Make a history check. I'll give you advantage. Damn!
Wow.
Bro, like I said, bro, past the
Hey,
past.
yo!
Bro, I'm thinking, bro. I don't be thinking about the past no more, bro.
You got
Yo.
inspiration.
Future
inspiration.
facts, bro. Future facts.
Bro, I think this is just a funnier narrative, bro.
Yo, that is a garbage roll, bro. That was.
I don't think I've ever seen a roll a zero in my life.
You rolled with advantage and got a zero.
Bro.
That is
I don't know, I've never
crazy.
seen that.
Well, don't
So
worry,
who's
Addy
the
Dark.
original zero, bro?
If you don't know, this motherfucker's gonna tell you. You'll see as they begin to speak and they say, oh boy. You look over and say, they're a creature, loving the shadows, the night, and to feast on her opponent's dead corpses. The night terror's terrifying. Nothing frightens her. As she captures her prey and plays with her food, or so the stories go. I once heard that the woman, I don't know, the thing, they carry a blade that sets itself on fire. Only when it's fire can you see their true form. A creature of the night. Purple, beady eyes, with a slit down the middle almost like a snake or something. A forked tongue. But also a creature of great size, bearing fangs to feast on her opponent's blood. They call her the Chimera. Have you not heard of her? Oh, such a thing? Type that in chat for y'all.
Well, I haven't heard much about many night creatures usually because I slay them. It's not much of a story after that. But this Terra seems like it could fall into that. You said fangs? Is she feasting while alive or just the corpses?
I've never seen her myself. I've only heard the stories and the myths about her.
Well, let me tell you right now, you've got many legends sitting right in front of you. So, Night Terra, let's just call her the Night Creature.
She's a kind of nod, but it's more of a nod of like, yeah, this guy's fucking dead. They're terrified of this this woman. But and you can probably tell that this individual was not at the fight to see what you guys were capable of. So, yeah. With that, but you'll see as they will begin to say, very well. Alright, it will be added to the clause. Night creatures, Zhao Dynasty. I would say the Dynasty is a very powerful group of individuals, though I haven't looked into their forces currently. I do know that direct confrontation with them would cause many issues and or much blood to be spilled. If it is
After we
okay.
win the tournament,
Go ahead.
the tides will shift in our favor.
If you are okay with this, we will prefer to not strike them down if we are to come across them, but instead fight them if it is, how you say, I'm a lack of better terms like being able to explain this. Basically, if you guys ever give the orders of like, hey, yo, we're assaulting this sort of place and we need people, then yeah, we'll do it. But if they just see him like just around the corner, at least from the start, they're not going to go kill him. Because that's like basically, like, that is a no-go. That will lead to their demise real quick. And with that, very well. Is there anything else that we need to be aware of? Or is that all?
Cora would say no, but apologies. I must speak with Zaman in private. It's news.
No need to speak necessarily in private, as I think we are done here. You'll see as he looks over towards the nearby sort of Samad and kind of tells him like, all right, get this sort of signed in writing. And also bring forth the cake. All right. Sorry to put take a shift into business and such, but dessert will be coming out soon. We shall let the feast continue. And see as he begins to do a sort of grand gesture. And with that, bits of sort of talkings between like all the sort of guests and more begins to continue on. So unless you really want to talk like super secretly in private, you can, but you don't necessarily need to. As you can just talk amongst one another right now.
Okay, so we could just assume that it's just the knights, not included, and just the knights. No good.
Oh, if you're trying to do that, then yeah. For this, we can just move your characters like outside, or move your characters token select to the corner, and then we can assume you guys are outside right now speaking. If you want to do that.
Okay.
All right, so everybody can move their tokens like kind of down here. I'll set that up.
Yeah, we'll let Cora and Zaman go since Zaman's on the time limit.
Gotcha.
Cora.
Okay. Sorry, my thing froze. I couldn't tell. All right. So she will say to Zaman, Zaman, how close are you with Zale?
I would consider me and Zell pretty close. We communicate relatively frequently. Why?
I've got a letter from Zale, and it sounds like we might be. Things are not as what it seems. He told me about how an inquisitor with an owl mask tortured him for information. I had these.
You mean like the one in there?
Yes. I've been training with Rose, and I've been having these visions, and I saw him in my like a kind of like a past life or so, but he was much bigger than he is now, and now his body is vastly different from my visions. He told me that we should not trust him, and we shouldn't give out too much information. He was like, did I mention he was tortured or not? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You did.
It's Sensei. It's only me and Cora, right? Nobody else. Is
Yeah,
around?
no one. I assume you went to a location where it's just like, hey, yo, it's just you two.
Yeah, it's us. Yeah, it's just us.
Shit. Zaman will confide in Cora. He's gonna say, Cora, you've seen my mineral form, correct?
Yes.
Something has been going on. Something is trying to take control of me. And it did take control of me while I was at the generator. I slaughtered a lot of Samarans. And the Inquisitor watched. And he had the similar voice as the voice that was in my head. I think we need to keep him close. I'm not sure if his actions are his own or if he's being controlled as I was.
Well, we must not tell him that we know Zale. So I'm glad that you didn't put the triangle up, and maybe perhaps Zale would have sent us a message. He would have recognized them. But it's important that we keep this information to ourselves for now while we still figure out what's going on.
I agree, and please keep this information about what's going on with me to yourself as well. I feel like it has something to do with our transformation, but I am unsure. I don't know if you've experienced something similar.
I have during my training. Well, during my training, I felt something more mentally than anything. And in fact, I feel like my eyes. There's something weird been going on with my eyes.
Understood. Well, I will help you, and you could help me. I need to do more experiments with this form to see how I can get it under control. And I think you're the only person who can probably prevent me from completely wilding out.
I will do my best. And also, Zale said that he would try to make it to the tournament, but he might not be able to convince the others. Emir did say that as long as we can find a way to get to Zale, his peoples can come and help grab him and assist him to there. Now with the whole Samada and Zale thing, I don't know how Zale would feel about that, but perhaps I can tag along and help escort him. And the last thing, I was told that I have to protect Gore, so I'm going to need your assistance in help protecting Azura if I'm out with Gore. It's very vital that I make sure Gore stays alive. Also Azura, but obviously I can't be in two places at the same time, and we all know Gore likes to go hunting. So moving forward, when Gore goes out to hunt, I will be assisting him, which means I would need you to keep your eyes on Azura.
Of course, we, at any given time, except for apparently right now, one of us will be with Azora, and he chuckles a little bit. Or Gore.
Good. I'll explain more in detail later on when we get some downtime, so we're not stuck in this hallway. But I just want to give you the basics of it. Just be careful with the Inquisitor. And he
will.
must not.
Thank you, Gore. And then I guess Zaman will go inactive now.
Gotcha. Nah, it's kind of like you look over off to the side, it's like, all right, we alone? We alone? Cool, cool, cool. And you look over at, like, literally just peering around the corner, you just see the Keeper off to the side, just chilling, bro. Just literally looking in the middle of this hall, like, y'all finished?
Well, I guess Zaman will say, well, I guess I must go now. But if you have any questions for the Keeper, and then he just it fades out as he exits.
See, this Keeper Ryan will sort of unfurl the cloak as you begin to step into the astral mist. You'll see as they begin to take the likes of Zaman with them. However, Cora, is there anything that you have to sort of ask the Keeper, or you let them do their job and keep on going?
Yes. One last thing to the Keeper. Well, no, because she wouldn't know that technically, so never mind.
Fair enough. It's funny because this is actually like the first or second time you've actually ever really, no, about second or third time since you've actually really seen the Keeper. The last time you saw them was, well, obviously with Azora and all that sort of whole thing. The one before that was, funny enough, it was with you and Zaman, and I believe Gore, or no, I think it was only between you two, as you met a whole god and a whole deity with alongside the Keeper. So as they look over, they'll nod, and they will get ready to get going. So nothing else you need to say to them?
Like what? I don't even know what to even ask them. So
that's all good. You can ask them when they get back. So with that, we'll see as the Keeper begins to dissipate, and along with Zaman. All right. And with that, Cora, you eventually return. And with that, as the feast continues to go on and on and on, cake is sort of served and more. But is there anything the Voden Knights or anybody, any of you guys need to talk about or discuss? Or are you guys good to go to conclude the likes of this feast?
Gore would go up to Cora at some point and kind of off to the side be like,
we need those two from the bar. They praise the same god as you, Quiet One.
Are you sure, Gore?
Yes. And Gore thought about it hard, long. When we met them before, they say they served your god too. At least their faith has survived this cycle.
Did they have, as she shows her medallion of Iroas, was he wearing this pendant?
I have no clue if I would have noticed that or not. I know I was eyeballing Sensei, but
oh man,
because I was eyeballing him up and down because I was trying to check for marks and such.
And you're asking if they had a pendant to Iros?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You would have probably noticed that. You would have noticed that. But there is one other thing that you sort of hear. As soon as you bring up your pendant of Iros, you'll begin to hear just an individual off to the side, kind of looking over and saying, I didn't know that they were inviting pansies to the likes of this fucking feast.
Oh man. Oh man.
Talking about honor and shit. Makes sense. Kind of like goes back to sort of eating likes of his cake. Cora, you can tell that this is what this is. Cora, maybe not so much, but Cora, you're easily able to tell this. As you hold your pendant out to Iroas, no religion check needed. You look over and you see as he has the pendant of Mogus. In your head, it's kind of like, ah, shit. You know that Iroas and Mogus are brothers, and they have hated each other from time, like since time was even conceived of. So much to the point where they originally used to be one person, until they hated each other so much they ripped each other into two people instead. That is actual lore that has actually happened. Because of this, Mogus followers and Iroas followers have always had this long-term beef with one another and the ways that they view battle and warfare. Seems to be that they're just calling you out because you're an Iroas worshiper. Simple as that. Don't know who you are, just straight up because of that.
Before Cora talk shit back, you said after the last session that we don't have to convince Kokosha, Kyle, and Zoe like they're coming with us, right? I just don't want to waste like the RP time.
It will take like 5 minutes at most. It'll take 5 minutes. You guys will have time for it, I'm sure. It's more so Kyle just needs to talk to Amir after the feast, get that sort of thing situated, and then go from there on like his orders.
Copy.
Yeah. But go ahead, Cora.
So who said it?
This dude right here. This lovely gentleman.
We gotta keep it. All right, well, you know she's not because of the rules. Because we can't be violent in here, right?
I mean, it probably you were wise enough to know it would probably not be the wisest thing when a business contract is being signed and it is a grand feast of peace and prosperity to start a fight here, like an actual physical confrontation.
All right, she's going.
Let me tell you, in
she's going up to
Wolffolk
him.
tribe, bro. I'll tell you this right now, bro. If there ain't a fight at a peace gathering, it's not really a peace gathering.
You said it's the one next to Rose?
Yeah, it's the one right beside Rose.
And she would lean as he's eating. She would lean like up behind him into his ear, and she'll say, "What did you say?"
Speak up! The quiet one didn't hear you.
Hey, come on, spit it out.
You'll see as he looks over, he'll double down on this shit. He'll look over and said, I didn't expect honor-bound pansies to be allowed at the dinner table. But apparently, they're able to even get scraps still.
Cora will take his plate and smash it on the ground, and then tell him the weak does not eat here.
As this sort of happens, make an intimidation check, Cora. You have advantage.
Intimidation. Ew.
One more time because of advantage. 11, 12. You see as he looks over, and he kind of just looks towards the plate. You'll see as a couple of individuals begin to look over as a smashing sound begins to happen. Everybody begins to sort of stare off. Begins to say, Sorry. That's my fault. I'm clumsy a little bit. I was just a little bit intrigued by our new guest here. As he begins to look over, he begins to kind of stand up, meeting you, Cora, for a second. And you'll see as he says, the weak aren't made to carry weapons like that.
Did you not hear what the quiet one said?
You don't hear that.
Drop your plate.
You don't hear that.
You hear Zora say...
He is whispering this specifically to Cora. None of you hear this except Cora.
The only thing Gore would comment on would be like,
You want to come see? The quiet one dropped your plate. You aren't here to eat. You're weak.
Azor will say, Amir, like I said, we have a festival coming up where we do have a bit of a sparring tournament. Perhaps your man here.
Hold on. Let Cora do the thing. Let Cora do their thing.
All right, so there was a whole bunch of yelling. I honestly didn't hear what was said. He said something about he doubled down and said what?
He doubled down and said basically along the lines of like, hey, yo, honor-bound pansies, they ain't allowed to eat at the dinner table, but apparently you were able to get some scraps, yada yada. He slammed the plate onto the ground. He eventually, everybody's kind of looking over you as you're causing the scene. He's like, hey, my bad, my fault, I dropped the plate, it's all good. And everybody kind of went back to sort of talking amongst themselves and everything. But as they got up, they whispered specifically to you, Cora, and he said, the weak shouldn't be allowed to wield weapons like that. And that's kind of what he was sort of saying to you as he whispered it.
And she will say out loud so everyone can hear that when you speak to me, use your voice and speak loud, weak man.
I speak
and then
with
as
my...
she walked...
Okay.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, do your thing.
We'll see as he says, I speak with my blade and my axe. That does all the talking for me.
So she says, so let's talk right now then.
So he looks over and he'll just be like, fine by me. And immediately begins to sort of reach over towards the axe before you look over, Cora, and you just see something sort of forming a sort of spiritual hand before you see as Rose looks over to the left and just fucking psionically slaps this fucker upside the head with a mage hand and tells her, or begin to see as she begins to sort of start looking towards him, eyes shine green for a second. Would you shut the fuck up and sit down about Mogus for once? Please. I am sorry, Cora. We do have a means of fighting in the likes of the Plateau Prospering, but we wouldn't do such a thing in the Grand Samadan Hall. Isn't that right? And you'll see she's looking over towards the individual. But if you want to go, well, handle your business, by all means you could do it there. At this point, she's speaking out loud, so Azor, if you want to mention your thing.
Well, before Azor speaks, Cora was saying, no worries. In fact, I'll do one better. I'll train this dog myself so he can learn some respect.
You see as he gets ready to sort of say something before you'll notice as Rose just kind of looks over towards them, and with you as well, no intimidation check needed as you already got your 12 from earlier. He gets the picture that they're kind of outnumbered right now with all of them sort of surrounding them. I'd like to see you try. With that, you'll see as he begins to sort of stand up, and he's gonna get the idea. He's gonna walk away. He's gonna walk away for now. But you definitely got the better of him in that confrontation.
Alright, and she will sit down and just continue enjoying the rest of the glorious feast.
I thought he was going to Gore to the tavern.
Oh yeah. So Cora said, now that that's over, Gore, show me the tavern so we can find this one you speak of.
Let's find them before they're gone.
And yeah, Gore would lead him the way to the tavern.
You got it. As has sort of happened and done, so or who's all going to the tavern? Make sure I got this right. So
Azor's gonna talk to Gashir like outside, like Dolo. But,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Cora and Gore are going to the tavern. Azor's going to talk to Gashir. Addydark is going where?
I'm going to the tavern because this food was weak. This dude's mad trash, bro. I ain't never seen 1 star.
Easy enough. All right, and then Agni, what are you doing, or where are you going?
Well, after he signs like the contract, and he
Yeah.
definitely wants to like shake Ymir's hand.
Yeah.
And the Inquisitor, if he would. He's still
Inquisitor
very
would
much
shake.
intrigued by him. Okay. He's very much intrigued, but he would he does want to go off into that blacksmith. Since he wouldn't be able to come before we leave, he wanted to go with him, and he would be curious if any of like the people that we invited want to come along. He hasn't really talked to them, and he doesn't know anything about them, so he'd be curious if like Kaio or Cole or Zoe had any interest in like blacksmithing or weapons, so he would invite them as well, but he's heading over to the blacksmith.
Okay. Gotcha. Alright, so judging off of this, making sure I got everything. Okay. Which one do we want to go for? Let's go with Gore and Cora first. And then we're going to head over and we're going to do Agony second. And we're going to come back over towards Azora. So let's go Adidark, Cora, and then Gore at the tavern.
Hey, I'm gonna roll with Agony. I forgot Zaman's gone. He went to go, I don't know, make love to a trash compactor, whatever he does in his spare time. So in the spirit of not leaving anyone solo, I would probably roll with Agony.
You got it. Alright. So Alright. So as you guys begin to head over back towards the bar, you'll see as you begin to come back, and the individuals are kind of still there, but they're more so just planning out a couple of things rather than actually, drinking and all that. As they're doing so, they're kind of at that one table that a couple of the other Samadans were at a while ago. And here is where they are. If I can swap maps and then add your tokens in. So let me go grab Cora. And let me go grab just Cora. So, looking in over off to the side, you'll see as they're kind of talking amongst one another. What do you say or do?
Let's see. So she would say Gore.
Of course, I'd be on mute. Gore would be like,
There, those are the ones. Funny, almost like we were in the tavern before.
I guess you're pointing to these two down here.
Yeah. Two right here. And Gore would be like, oh, go ahead, do your thing.
No, go ahead.
You two from the bar before. You might not remember the quiet one, but the quiet one's traveled me for a while. She praises the same god as you.
See as Dragonborn begins to speak, and as Dugar begins to look over. I'll be. And always nice to meet a fellow worshipper of Auroraverse in these parts. See, as kind of extending a hand out of respect to sort of shake. No, they do not have a mark on their hand. If you do not remember.
Yeah, she wasn't even gonna look for the mark. She was looking for the Aurora symbol first.
Yeah, looking over towards it, it would be not necessarily their necklace, but a small sort of pendant off to the side, kind of next to their sort of belt ish. You even notice as the dwarf, they would have a necklace of Iroas as well. Hey, go ahead.
No, he gave us his name, Dragonborn, right? No, Gore did. Okay, so Cora would say, Dragonborn, is it?
Dugar. Dragonborn's the race.
Oh, my bad. Dugar.
That's fine.
As a fellow worshipper of the almighty Auroraverse, you must also seek victory, correct?
That is correct.
There's a tournament coming up soon, and I can't think of any other better place to seek victory from this. You should join us as a fellow Auroraverse worshipper.
Yeah. So he begins to look over. Tournament. I mean, to be fair, What do you think? Kind of looks over towards the dwarf, and you'll see as she'll begin to speak and say, well, I mean, it's been a while since we even sort of had a tournament before. Why not have a little bit of fun? Last time was over in Ketsu, so why not? Dugar kind of look over and say, this tournament, where exactly is it sort of located?
It's on these islands. We're currently working on the transportation to get there. But you are more than welcome to travel with us in the meantime.
Say, beforehand, I didn't catch your name before. Yeah.
Apologies. I'm Cora of the Voden Knights.
Ah, I see. Makes sense. You must look over towards Gora. These are one of the knights that you mentioned before, I see. Well, pleasure to meet you, Cora. I mean, we got a couple things sort of to wrap up. I gotta go just quickly. I mean, my brother seems to be doing okay, but I gotta at least sort of tell him my goodbyes and all such. Now he's all done well. What about what are you gonna do about the sort of sinkhole? I mean, can wait. It's not really anything too crazy, I'd imagine.
Ooh. A sinkhole, you say? Well, slap my tush and call it. No.
Well, also we are building a magnificent, extravagant battle pit in the name of Iroas. Back at our base, and we're also working on a festival in the name of Iroas. As you can see, I take this very seriously, as I take all tournaments and challenges and those on the field.
Spoken like a true warrior. I mean, tell me, this fest. Oh, good.
Oh no! Last thing she would say, what assistance do you need with the sinkhole? Because we have already cleared one out.
Well, you'll see as she'll speak. Basically, right, this, I mean, we're sort of just sell swords, venturers of the sorts. We saw or heard a couple sort of things about some sort of sinkhole not too far from here. Figured we might as well check it out once we sort of explore the lands. If not that, then probably, what was the one thing? The volcanoes around, the little elemental volcanoes.
Ooh. Oh, we getting juicy. Bring these niggas down right now.
Okay, so it seems like we have a lot in common then, because I too need to find some more sinkholes. You should definitely join us on our way back to camp. Where are you staying? I know you said you have some last minute business to deal with. Where can I find you once you're all done?
We just gotta stop by sort of shopping district for a bit. Mayor, I tell you what, kind of just meet out. Well, how exactly are you guys getting down? That's the one thing I haven't sort of figured out yet.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
We'll find transportation down. You don't have to worry about that.
Gotcha. Here, we can just meet up same or outside here.
All right.
Sounds good. Pleasure meeting you, Cora.
You too, Dugar. And she'll give him the dap on the handshake with holding his wrist, or not wrist, forearm.
Yeah.
You know, the gladiator one.
Mm-hmm.
And she will nod to the brother, I assume.
Yeah, that's
and
sister.
be on her way.
Definitely a sister. Definitely a girl.
My bad.
Just day, bro. Just day.
Did we ever get her name?
Never asked.
Nobody, bro.
Never asked.
he just walked up and didn't ask nothing.
Does she have any Aurora's decor on her or anything?
Yeah, she does. She has she wears it more so as a necklace rather than just off to the side.
Damn it.
I walked back. Wait, hold up.
And your traveling partner, what is her name?
Oh, right. I guess we didn't introduce Tally, or Tali.
Tally. Very nice name.
Or
Strong.
Thali. But H silent.
Okay. Strong name. I can sense a strong warrior in you. Please, join us also with your brother. We could use more Iroh's blessings on our team.
I mean, it's gonna take a lot more to sort of separate me from this little one, so I'm definitely in. These Dugar will kind of nod, and these two are a team. They will join the likes of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Got my team, my squad. We jumping it now. All right. She will dap Talia up too. You know, respect the Tims that she got on, and she will be on her way.
You got it. As this is happening, you see as Cora does her thing, and Gore, is there anything you want to say or do before you leave?
Gore just grabs another drink from the bartender.
You got it.
Lay out.
Easy enough. Just grab and drink and then head out.
Yep.
Alright, easy peasy. With that, as you do so, we head over towards the likes of Agni, heading over towards the blacksmith. Now, you've already mentioned, you mentioned and explained to them, like, hey, I'm going to the blacksmith, you guys want to come with? Or was there anything else you want to explain to him? You're muted.
Goddamn. Yeah, he would ask them. He was just curious. He doesn't know if any of them are curious about weapons or blacksmithing or just in general to get to know either me or Addy. So he would just kind of extend an invite before we leave. He is heading over to the blacksmith.
You'll see as Kyle will begin to say, I'd like to, but I cannot. I need to go talk to Amir for that thing that I mentioned before. Kolkasha, could you please see if you find any other druidic staffs, then secure that for me. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. That being said, you'll see as Zoe begin to look over. I think I do need another rapier. I think I would like to go. Oh, I said Kokasha and Zoe, they will go and tag along with you, but Kyle's gonna stay here.
Okay.
Alright. Now, for the sake of brevity, I had a whole map sort of and stuff planned out, but I will just show you it, and we're gonna skip past it. So, long story short, as you would kind of be found over in this area, and let me go grab. I'm not gonna put Addy's and everybody else's token on, but you would look over and you'd find a actually sort of thriving village and kind of city-esque sort of thing. Multiple buildings, multiple Samadans, for the most part, sort of going about their day-to-day lives. Eventually, you'd be pointed off to the side as there is a, there is a sort of blacksmith area over towards the north. Talking and asking a couple of people around, you'd be able to find it, and you'd be good to go. So let me bring you towards this map instead. Let me go grab a couple of tokens as you are not alone. Oh wait, what the heck? Why is that token so small? This is gonna be annoying, but it's fine. I will grab them, and I will grab them, and I will adjust them in a bit. Alright, so Agni, as you and Addy Dark begin to walk into the likes of this sort of blacksmith area, you will begin to see as... wait, where the heck is this thing? Is it over here? Yeah, it's fine. You'd begin to look over and you'd see or hear the likes of the clinking of metal and steel and more. And eventually you'd look inside to find this massive, well, not massive, but more so a fairly well-built and taken care of facility and establishments. Inside, however, you'd see as there is a red dragonborn individual who seems to be hammering away off to the side. You see as they begin to take the likes of a longsword that is blazoned with heat before, or sort of dropping it into the likes of a water off to the side to let it cool down. As they begin to do so, we'll see as they will look over and speak and say, "Aye. What do you need?"
I guess as Agni approaches, he walks in and takes a look around and then takes a look at this guy. The name's War Chief Agni. Currently passerbys, a lot allies, as you would say, of the village we are in, the Savadans, was told of a legendary blacksmith worked here in the village. I've come to not only look at your wares, but I've had simple blacksmithing tools with me for as long as I can remember for a while. I was hoping maybe just looking at your shop or speaking with you could help me to remember why I carry these tools.
I see. I was always welcome company to see another blacksmith join the likes of this village. Not many people know about the craft, so if you're afflicted, then I do hope that it brings back some memories. I will say, though, I'm not a master blacksmith, but I take my work seriously, and my work is good. With that, go ahead.
If you're the main blacksmith of this city, you are the master blacksmith. I wouldn't sell any type of skills short.
Fair enough. As this is sort of said, you'll see as you, Agni, begin to look around for a bit. You look to see this sort of forge. You see all the varying tools left and right and about. Begin to look around this entire establishment. And it's strange. It doesn't feel like you've been here, but you've been in somewhere similar before. Agni, make your highest saving throw for me.
Here we go again.
14, add anything to it?
I'll use my inspiration for that.
Alright.
7? Yeah, I'll use inspiration.
But the funnier narrative.
Starting to lose its steam now.
Started thinking about that. What is funnier? I'm using inspiration. Alright, dice want what the dice want. I'm not gonna argue anymore. That's what the dice want.
The dice want what the dice want.
Is there more inspiration floating around? I can't see this blacksmith thing going any longer.
Sadly, not.
2023, bro.
I got some, bro, but nah, bro. The dice want it, bro. I'm not trying to mess with it.
The dice want it.
You look over and it seems familiar, and you can almost like look over and name each of the tools, but as you begin to try to speak it, Agni, the name, it seems to kind of fade from your tongue. With each sort of tool you notice, with each sort of bits of armor and swords and more, you look over and you try to speak what it is, but then it just fades. Before you look over for a brief second, Agni, and you see an individual who seems to be looking forth down upon you for a second, only several seconds. You see as they're purple and astral in nature, sort of cross-legged and more. and the individual you see for just a moment, who seems to just sort of smile down upon you, Agni.
Know who that is?
You see this individual. You notice as they sort of look down towards you, as they just kind of smile as you fail to remember. Fail to remember. As it begins to do so, your vision comes back back to normal, and you find yourself still in the blacksmith. Zoe will kind of look over and say, "Hey, what, Chief Agni, are you okay?"
Yeah, it's amnesia seems to get the better of me from time to time. Seems as if need to do more to remember at least. But this was informative. I do believe you two were looking for weapons of sorts. If they are non-magical means, perhaps as a gesture of goodwill, the Voden Knights can put it on our tab.
That would be very, I'd be very appreciative of that. I as well. I'm looking, I'll ask the individual, the smith, but I'm looking for something, how you'll say, not necessarily one that is specifically for damage, but something a little more customized. As I think I've mentioned before, or Chief, I am an individual who is very, very capable of getting answers out of the right people, even when they don't want to tell the truth.
These are the perfect NPCs.
You could say that, though they have an inquisitor of the sorts, you might have one in your ranks as well.
Who would you say is better?
No, I am not foolish. That one, they are very secretive. They probably possess other means of magics to be able to do so, probably out of faith, rather. They look over towards you, look over towards your form, they know what you're about. To put it bluntly, I prefer a little bit more of painful methods to get the answers that I request, rather than simple tricks.
All right, bro, you sold us. We're sold.
It sounds like, in my opinion, you are better.
That's it. Possibly a weapon, I don't know, like a weapon of truths. I don't know, you stab them or you got in there and maybe they decide to start talking. That would be, if that would be possible, but here, I guess I should ask them. And you'll see as she begins to walk over, and as she does, she'll kind of have a little bit of a brief conversation. Kolkash will also kind of ask for like a sort of druidic staff for the likes of Kaio and more. Nothing that needs to be like a super roleplay between the two of them. And as they're having these conversations, Addy Dark, what are you saying or doing this moment in time?
I just actually roll with it just in case shit pop off, you know what I'm saying? I don't know these people like that, you know what I'm saying? They were Roar Chief, didn't want them solo dolo in the streets, you know what I'm saying?
Easy enough.
So yeah, I got my gloves already, you know what I'm saying? Custom made, designer. I got my designer mittens, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm straight. I'm waiting for him to, when he's in the room shop, that's when I'm gonna be talking. I don't need none of this stuff. We need the room shop, you know. Maybe some Shingars, maybe. I don't know.
You can ask them. There are a couple of things out there. You would see as just looking around, just browsing. There actually are a couple of shin guards off to the side. They seem to have a pretty decent price to them, but there are some shin guards.
I gotta find the proper term for feet gauntlets. Gauntlets?
Greaves? I think. I don't know. Something like that.
Is that the?
Pretty sure it's Greaves, but I could be wrong.
Sounds lightning greaves sounds like something in my nerd vocabulary from some video game.
But as this is sort of happening, you'll see as the blacksmith will last sort of thing they'll say is, I mean, I can try to give you or try to commission something for you or such a thing, but this is gonna require a bit of rune carving. I myself, I'm not really like the greatest at it, but I can certainly give it a shot. I'll give you a discount for it as I try my best, but no promises.
That is something I might be able to assist with. Although I'm forgetful and lack the means of blacksmithing, runes have sort of naturally come to me.
Let's see. Here, you said you're a smith. I see you got the tools. You got any stones to carve into? Any gems?
Do I? I have no idea. Is that like weapons where we carve like the runes, like the slotted runes into? Or is he talking,
Yeah,
like,
he's basically
command
saying
gems?
like, he's basically asking, do you have a means to, or something to inscribe runes upon? Whether it's, he just referred to as stones or whatever, considering you have a shell. You just instantly thought of rock, but it can be kind of anything. And then also referring to either gems of the sorts, if you want to kind of use it to enchant certain apparel or anything like that, rather than just carrying around a rock.
I have no idea. Does the sword we have with like the empty rune slot count?
Yeah, that would. That would. Do you have the runes, the rune as well with it, including the sword, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Cora gave it to me, and we've just been passing it back and forth.
Perfect. We'll see as he'll begin to look over. Seems to be that this is almost already done. Alright, let me look at this thing. Here. I'll see as it begins to kind of set you up a little bit. Simply just for this ain't gonna teach you much, but maybe it'll trigger some memories. Place this socket here. There's a sword. Take this sort of thing. Kind of passes you the hammer. Begins to say, alright. A little bit of precision. You have to sort of think exactly what you want this thing to be, from what I know. Slam it down. Once you have it locked in your mind, go ahead. That sort of thing. Do you follow his directions and get to going?
Yeah. Nagel will try his best to follow his directions.
As you begin to do so, ting, ting, ting. You immediately begin to just start slamming down onto this, or onto the rune and onto the sword. And as you begin to do so, you begin to start hearing rumbling for a bit. But not rumbling outside, rumblings of a vision. Agni, make your highest saving throw once more.
Here we go.
Here we go, bro. Here we go. What do the dice want? 16.
About the same.
16. Look over. Any advantage you given to that?
I got inspo if you need it, but I don't know if that passes or not.
Was it a 9? I mean, the odds are currently in my favor. I would use it.
Oh man, go for it. Roll again.
Nope, not in my favor. Dice want.
I didn't know, and I wasn't gonna use mine. Y'all foolish, bro. Foolish.
That's just not my night.
Hey man, here's what happens. As you begin to start hammering away, you begin to see as you find yourself, for a brief second, a quick little vision. You find yourself hitting the likes of a sword. The area around you is blazing hot with heat and fire, and even that of lava. You strike down towards this sword, and you see as it begins, or hellish runes begin to slowly start forming amongst the blade and the metal and the steel. You even see, as it has a bit of writing in Infernal that you begin to try to read for a second before it begins to shift and fade, and you see the astral figure of the Eclipse Commander, Raul looking towards you and just smiling as they say specifically this. Oh boy.
Not today, Wrathchild. That memory is mine for the taking. The Infernal is my knowledge. The Eclipse's knowledge. You'll get it when you earn it.
And with that, the visions begin to shift, they begin to change, and they morph until you find yourself hitting away towards the likes of the runes and more. Not doing the thing. Bring a couple of memories back. You kind of sort of spaced out for a second.
Not yet. But I've learned something. And that's what counts.
Here. Yeah, you caught me in a good mood and such. I got a message that I can gotta be saying goodbye to a couple people for a bit. Here. It's your lucky day. Take this. Maybe you can use it to sort of train or some shit. Maybe it'll do you a little bit better. No one's kind of wanted anyway, so I suppose it's alright. You'll see as he passes you a rune of the sorts. And this, my friend, is... where is it? It is a rune of resistance. Essentially, if this is more so me speaking out of game, if you were to actually figure out a way how to carve this rune and be able to learn it, you would be able to, well, as an action, if you activate it, you basically gain resistance to all damage for until the end of your turn. But it takes an action to do so.
Copy.
They sort of hand it to you and they'll say, for business earlier. I'm kind of looking over towards Kolkasha and Zoe. Alright. Good luck with that. And they kind of go back to sort of hammering away.
Quickly out of game. For like what they wanted, would we be able to like pay for it? Because I don't know if she wanted just a regular rapier or she wanted something crazy.
Yeah, she wants a rapier that basically when she stabs somebody, bro, they get to flapping. That type of deal. They do not possess, this individual's not a, like, they know a little bit about rune carving and enchanting, but not too much. Not really their wheelhouse or thing, but they're gonna at least try to kind of do it. Not really confident that it'll come out successful, so they're not gonna, they'll have them pay like half price for now and then go from there. For the likes of Kolkasha, yeah, and I'll get you that price in a second, but for the likes of Kolkasha, you'll see as he begins to bring back a simple, just sort of druidic staff. And as he begins to do so, that one is not too crazy. It's just a +1 to their arcane focus. That would, or putting both together, it would come out to about. Make sure I got this right. Thinking. Yeah, it's a lot, bit of a pretty penny, but it'll come out to about 100, 100 to 120 gold, so we'll call it 110 gold. But if you want to trade other resources to be able to, that you can provide, then that is also a means to do it, unless you got the 110 gold.
Agni will use the the 50 personal gold he got, along with part, because we brought 100 gold here, so he will take the 60 from that and pay for it.
Is enough. As they do so, you'll see as Zoe and Kolkasha will graciously thank you for being able to pay for that. They do appreciate it. But eventually you'd see as, for the sake of brevity, it doesn't need to be role played out. As you're kind of leaving, you'll see as eventually the Dragonborn and the Dwarf will begin to make their way over to this location as you're leaving. You begin to talk to the likes of this Dragonborn, their brother, and get ready to head out. And before all of that's sort of taken care of and taking place, we head over towards Azora to talk to the likes of Gashir. Before the Voden Knights begin to disperse off of this island. Alright. For some reason, I gotta reload my foundry though. So give me 1 minute. It logged me out. Just so I make sure, so Gore, there's nothing for you that you're doing. You're just kind of waiting for those guys to come back.
Right.
Addy Dark, there's nothing for you that you want to do. I just not here.
No, I'm straight. No, I'm straight.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just on bodyguard duty right now.
All good. And then there's nothing, Cora, you else wanted to do, right?
I do, but I want to make sure everyone get a turn.
You got it. All right. Let me move over this. Let me go back to the hall. And here we go. Alrighty, so kind of back over towards the hall. Zora, you'd find the likes of Gashir as he's kind of sort of off to the side, kind of eating a bit of food, but
yeah, we don't have to switch scenes, but yeah, we would be like outside away from all these people, but we could just leave it here for now.
I'm just gonna leave it here. Yeah.
Yeah. So she'll say, yeah, okay. You said you needed to talk after you saw my eyes and I saw the thing behind you. What is it? What's going on?
Okay, so like the thing that I saw, the thing that you saw.
The thing that I saw, the astro-looking dragon behind you.
So, that's the irritating one. So it was actually funny enough. I was actually talking about this with War Chief Agni and Addy Dark a little while ago. But apparently there's these. I mean, the Gashir, a warrior, a fighter, a grand noxious
Gashir,
lady.
come on, make it quick. We do not have all day here.
Okay, look, the thing is that Gashir found a strange sort of tower at one point, and Gashir kind of walked into the tower, and they were like, ooh, you, my friend Gashir, you are the chosen one. You are the Noxious Blade. Will you become my champion? And I was like, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, Gashir thinks it'd be a cool idea. I like power. And then Gashir did that, and then they kind of reached out and...
She's gonna insight check that statement.
Yeah, make an insight check. 14. He's hyping a little bit or some stuff up, but he's telling the truth.
Okay.
And Gashir saw this giant sort of claw, and they're like, shing, shing, shing. And Gashir's like, oh shit, no. And then he got this little scar on his mushroom cap on his eye, and now he hears visions and voices in the likes of his head. And also, for some reason, now he's kind of like split a little bit thin when it comes to sort of martial proficiency. And Gashir is kind of concerned. Did you get all that?
How many voices in total?
I mean, the other one doesn't really speak, so like 6?
What do you mean by the other one? The one I saw?
I don't know.
The Astro one. Does that one speak to you?
Which one?
The Astro one. The one that when you saw my eyes and you said we needed to speak, that's one.
Well, I mean, there's 2 of them.
What? Excuse me?
I was waiting for that one.
And the names are? Both, I guess.
See. That's the thing. They won't tell me their names. The other ones seem nice, but those ones, oh, no. They like to keep things secret.
Good idea.
So,
which one
so
those
you're
are.
so you're saying that 2 of them are Astro. By any chance, is the other ones blue, white, red, Yeah, red. And what would be the sixth then? I have no clue. Black.
I mean, I don't see. Gashir hears them. Gashir hears them. They do, but Gashir doesn't really get to fully sort of see them. You know, like they kind of say like, "Oh my God, you are my sort of my patron." But Gashir is nobody's sort of bottom. You know, Gashir is Gashir, the Noxious Blade. He listens to no one. Well,
So what
except
are
for-
the names you do know at least?
I mean, I think there was Demacia, Demos. We talked about this. Yes, Demos. There is Surya. Yes, there's that one. And then there's
Surya.
Surya. Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Surya. And then there's Keflaflo. Kefaodo. Kefaria. Yes, Kefaria.
Okay.
Gashir remembers. Gashir totally remembers. But that's it. There was another one, but this one's like a little bit weird. They're like, Denda the World Serpent, or something like that.
Okay. And so, let me guess. The two that do not provide their names, those two you're sure are both Astro.
I mean, Gashir tried to talk to them, but they don't want to talk to Gashir.
In your opinion, why do you think when I activated my mark and looked at you, the only one I saw was one of the purple ones? In that moment, did they say anything to you about me?
No, they don't really speak much.
Where is that tower located?
So here's the thing. Here's the big thing. Gashir has no memory of it. I am being completely honest and truthful with you. I genuinely have no fucking clue. Like they sort of bestowed upon this thing. They marked my eye and said "Eye of the Sage" and all this other sort of stuff. And then
How long ago was this, Gashir?
I actually don't know. Kind of scratches her head.
Interesting. Well, it appears you and I have a bit more in common than I thought.
But we're two kick-ass warriors who use a sword and use a blade.
You see her roll her eyes, and then she says, "So, how long have you been back at the kingdom since that tower incident? Has it been a year, 2 years? Was Philo young, old?"
I mean, it was a while ago. I mean, I believe Philo was young. Yes, Philo was young at that point.
So this was a long time ago. Most likely.
Well, actually, hold on. Let me make sure I got this right. I mean, I didn't really talk too much to Philo, and he had sort of gone off and did his own thing, went on his own quest with that one little mushroom buddy of his.
I see. Okay then. So the one that you say call themselves these Denda, do they speak to you?
Yes, kind of, but it's like they're not really talking to Gashir. Gashir just kind of hears.
So they're talking to each other.
Well, I don't really know exactly who they're talking to.
What was the last thing you heard from the Denda one?
well, it was like, something about, find my vessel. And I kind of like really emphasized the S's, you know? And they were like, Rashid, and they're like, reforge the path. It was like, and he's doing, you see Gashir's kind of doing like the whole sort of thematics with the hands and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, see me forth. Something about sea and astral or something like that. I don't know. Very stupid.
Okay, so here's what you're gonna do from now on, Gashir.
Oh god.
Yo, when we get back to the kingdom, I will provide you a notebook, and she shows like her journal, like this one. Every time you hear one of them talks in your head, you will write it down immediately, and then let me know.
Okay. I mean, I don't really see what the point is. They don't really seem to be talking to me or Gashir, and they don't really they're not really saying anything that's super important.
Gashir, the thing you must understand about becoming a knight, which is something you would like to do, correct?
Yes, maybe. Who told you?
Information is everything to a knight. You do that, gather that information, and I'll tell Addy Doc to ease up on you one of these days.
Hold on one second. I gotta roll something. This would be, yeah, this would be this. 10, alright. Well, let's roll this. I need an answer. You'll see as Gashir will look over and kind of say, I don't think that's necessary. See, the thing is when and don't tell him I said this. Do not. This is me and Zora sort of thing. This is like the noxious blade versus the frozen blade sort of thing, right? Right? Cool.
Go on.
So, I don't know. At first, I mean, it was just sort of the whole thing with this, just sort of climb the mountain, and then I was like, this is stupid. Then I was going to sort of give up and just sort of take the easy route. And then it would have been nice. But then I wouldn't have had that sort of feeling of, I don't know. It was a good feeling, I just can't describe it. When I actually just climbed the mountain instead.
He sees Zora starts laughing, and then she puts out a fist to like ask for like a fist bump.
And sees he returns it.
And she says, now there's the warrior I always knew you were. Good. Now once he's done with your instructions, I will do mine with you. Now let's go. Warriors, you a warrior you will become.
Yes, Gashir. Gashir is a warrior knight. The best warrior knight. You'll be the best Voden Knight the world has ever seen.
And she'll say, but don't forget your journaling.
Oh, yes, of course. And with that, you'll see as that whole scene begins to come to a conclusion. And with that, Voden Knights, is there anything, Cora, is there anything that you wanted to do before you guys get ready to head off back towards your home?
Yeah. Is everyone here? Or is everyone still in separate places?
Yeah, everybody would be there. For the sake of brevity, Agni, you would have...
Yeah, I'll ask for the store stuff after stream, like, just to see what that guy was selling. We don't have to do it now.
Gotcha. Agni would have, like, sake of brevity, Agni would have shook hands with Amir. It would have came up in writing, all that great stuff. You guys, the feast would eventually disperse. You would have ate and did your whole things and all that sort of stuff. And eventually you, I assume, would kind of meet towards the entrance of the village in a way to get ready to go where you need to go. So you guys are roughly right here. I can pull up this map. But yeah, everybody is pretty much together. Let me change a couple little tokens.
Cool. So Cora will start by saying, I just want to let you guys know that things have been different lately. There has been like less voices in my head more recently. and I'm not quite sure why or how, but there are people I can no longer hear. And then there's this new person in my head. I'm not sure who this person is. The only person that I can hear who I recognize is Ulf. However, I spoke to Dindar and he told me that there are those who possess hatred for things, and others have done in the past. As she kind of looks like Agni, and then she'll say, my job is to reforge him, along with reforging everyone's trust in another. I was told that this cycle will be our last. I know that from off, he has met with a person named Rashid, who is the vessel. He's bringing the bow to a group, and I believe that group was the one who was traveling with the RIP Spike.
Well, hold on. Actually, first thing, are you talking about this with the Knights, or are you talking about with everybody?
With the Knights. No, just Knights talk. Yeah,
Okay,
get these XYZ niggas out of
here. Copy.
Yeah, no, this is straight Knight talk. Yeah. So anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, so he's bringing the bow to Spike. We are to locate all the weapons of Dindar and to reforge Jurgermeister?
Jormungandr.
Yeah, Jormungandr. Now, I'm also tasked with protecting those who carries the weapons, and as she looks at Gore with the axe. I know Ulf has the shield, and I spoke to Ulf, and I told him that if he ever needs my assistance, that I will find ways to travel, just like how Zaman just traveled to wherever he had to go with the Keeper. Ulf also told me that he had chopped off someone's hand by the name of Draxel. I'm not sure if that's referring to maybe Draxel has a mark or something, but I guess Draxel was acting weird and he cut his hand off, and it seems like he's back to normal, if you guys know who that is.
Zoro said, where is all this information coming from?
She'll just point. Just give me one moment. Also said that there's. Yeah, I know. Right? Also said that there's a member of the Eclipse that has already started messing with his head. I'm not sure who the Eclipse are or what they represent, but if any of you guys have any information on this Eclipse thing, please let me know so I can relay the message to Ulf. But for now, my goals are to regain my memory and skills and locate the rest of Dendar's weapons, while also protecting Gore and Azora. So, Gore, anytime you go out for hunts or anything, I'll be there to assist you. And the information I got this from was the voices that are in my head, but I could only recognize one of them. The other one, I'm not sure who that is.
And for this long it's been, you still not sure how you're getting these voices?
I'm not. I think it's possibly one of the two marks, or I think it's the marks, but I'm not quite sure. Oh, and last thing, I've been speaking to Zale, and I'll go into more details about that at a later time. I think for now we've gotten a lot of information, and I'm not sure about you guys, but I haven't had a rest in a very, very long time.
Understood. So, the information I get is sort of like Zaman with the triangle marks. You're saying your marks connect you to others who are marked soulbound.
Yes. That's what I'm starting to believe. But with some of the voices that I haven't heard in a long time, I don't know if they're dead or what it may be. Usually, like for example, with Spike dying, I was told that, but the other, I think it's two. The other two I haven't heard in quite some time.
Do you know the names of any of them besides these oath?
I don't know the other one's name. I only know of Oath. Let me check. Did this nigga say his name was? I don't think. No, I only know Oath. Yes, just Oath. I will try to find out who the other name is. Now, though, are you talking about the ones who are no longer here or the new ones?
Any voices you've heard. You keep saying their voices, but no names attached to any of them.
One was Myra and the other one was Phoebe. And those are the two that I no longer hear.
The Myra, the deer-faced from the deserts.
Yes, and
well, at least that helps us to know that the information you're getting is from other soulbound groups and not randoms.
Yes, no soft spirits or an animal.
Understood. Well, this is certainly information we could discuss once we get back to the war room. As for what Off is talking about, the Eclipse individual, I may have some insight upon that. But how to deal with them, that I am actually not sure of. But I can see what I can do.
Please relay as much information as possible. I fear that it might be urgent.
She nods. She says, "Give me some time to think as we travel back."
Okay.
Good.
Nah, I think I did. My to-do list was deep, so I think I got most of it out.
All right. So that said, Voden Knights, you will see as eventually you look around, and are you guys preparing to head off back towards the village then? Finally.
Yes.
Yeah, Zoro will say, well, shouldn't we wait for the others to catch up? Rose in the Inquisitor, I believe they said they was going to take a moment to get ready.
Oh no, they like for the sake of brevity, they'd kind of be like showing up here and everything.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, cool.
Don't worry about that.
Cool. All right, cool. Yeah, so yeah, we can head out. Like I said, I'll do the store later. We can say she went there before she met up.
All right. So, as Rose and the Inquisitor begin to show up, they would actually come up with the likes of two griffins for the both of them. As they begin to hop alongside, you'll see as they get ready to start flying down. However, as this is said and done, you begin to start feeling something for a moment. You start hearing a shaking. As this begins to happen, you look over and you start looking towards the ground. You see as a couple of the woods are kind of moving and shifting, the trees and more are sort of going about. Bits of birds are sort of flying off to the side as this happens. One of your marks begins to slowly starts activating and pulsing for a moment. You see as it begins to shine white with a bright light for a moment in time. Addy Dark, you look over towards your palm, and you see as the circle within the circle begins to slowly start shining and pulsing for a brief moment. And as it begins to do so, you begin to see as it begins to almost start flashing directly towards you, almost blinding you for a brief moment. And you hear a voice enter the likes of your head. You hear as it speaks and begins to say towards you, Addy Dark, champion of mine, slayer of night creatures. You do not know me, but I know you well, and the others, the other champions who bear my mark. I'm contacting you. You've used my power for a brief moment, but now it is time to use it to its full potential. You've heard the stories of this cataclysm to come, this Ragnarok. You've heard the rest of these knights. They've explained how dire this matter is. And though I know you do not necessarily concern yourself directly with the likes of these ops, your bat lies into the faces of the creatures of the night. However, I will say this. Your bat is needed. Your weapons, your fists, the elements themselves are needed against this threat. With the coming months, Ragnarok approaches, and you and the knights will not be ready, for you alone is not enough. Allow me to assist. Allow me to help. As Cataclysm falls and the skies begin to crack and tear, my towers rise across Voden to give the soul-bound the aid that they need. However, it all starts with the likes of my champions being able to begin the likes of the the likes of the revival, the reforging. Find the tower and see its secrets. And you see as it begins to say, or as the voice enters your head and eventually leaves, you all begin to look over, and as that rumbling begins to shift and manage and shake, you see protruding out from the ground over by a forest and a village of mushrooms, you see as a massive spire of gray begins to protrude out of your own home base. You look over towards it as it pierces the likes of the sky and the clouds above to where even you all can see it. But what this tower holds and what this all means for your base, we'll have to see next time on Valley of Dreams. Now that, my friends, as the Voden Knights have, or get ready for this next adventure, you guys all level up to level 8.
Jinkies!
Here we go, my friends. Here we go. So with that, I want to thank each and every single one of the players for being able to tune into today, as you did. Also, I want to thank everybody who was able to watch all the stream and all that good stuff. But I'm going to go break down stream, and I will get back to you guys in a bit. All right? Sound good?
Copy.
Alrighty. Grab back. With that, thank you guys again for everybody who's able to tune in to watch. You guys are freaking fantastic as per usual. Thank you guys so much. A special shout out to Dread for the raid and all of these sort of raids and follows that we got. Again, we actually were able to hit the 2,180 follower goal. As we started off with like, I think 2,000, I think we gained 20 followers throughout the entire day. So that was freaking insane. From the earlier stream to this stream, you guys are freaking killing it. So hopefully we might actually be able to hit 2,200 followers by that time we get to the 2K special. So I will be seeing you guys. I probably won't be streaming tomorrow. I highly doubt if I stream Wednesday at all, because Wednesday is my birthday. So yeah. We'll probably pick it back up on Thursday when I have Atlas of Etheria, if we go to stream that game. So I will see you guys there when we do so. All right, everybody. We're going to raid into a couple individuals if we can find the sum, and we're going to call it there. All right, let's see who's going to be raided into tonight. We're going to look over on Twitch. I'm going to see if I can swap over to the Basecamp stream. Oh, it's loading. There we go. All right, let's see who is the lucky individual that we're going to raid into today. All right, Dungeons and Dragons. What we got? All right, we're gonna raid into is Gnome streaming? All right, yeah, we're gonna raid into Gnome. Yeah, we haven't raided into them in a while. Okay, that said, thank you guys again for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all. Have a good one.